that he doesn't want to do it. He wants to keep his team as strong as he can, and it's much the same tonight. I know that Lee Griffiths is on the bench, but it's too early for him to come in and start a game like this, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him come on and get more minutes under his belt.
And a great opportunity, of course, for Celtic. 3 wins in a draw thus far, Michael, to get that win tonight, and it will depend, of course, on the other game, but there's every chance if they get the win tonight, then that will do it. That will be well, just another incredibly positive night for Scottish football in European competition this season.
100%, Richard, and this is a very important game for Celtic, because we've seen obviously in the last few years when they've got through to that next round, when you're coming up against Champions League drop-downs and how difficult the opponent can be. If they manage to top the group with a victory here tonight, depending on what goes on elsewhere, then it puts them in a really good position for the next round, being seeded and potentially getting a side that Celtic will go into confident of being able to get a result against, because they are a team that is clearly playing well and full of confidence, not just domestically this year, but on the European front as well.
Yeah, we kind of almost have to pinch ourselves at the moment. This season has been wonderful thus far. Celtic looking to top the group. Potentially tonight, Rangers in pole position to do just that when they play their final game against Young Boys in a fortnight's time. Earlier tonight in Group L, Astana 2, Manchester United 1. Jesse Lingard had put United in front this first goal of the season, but it was a Bernard own goal that won it for the team from Kazakhstan. Man United, though, through in that group already. Group K, Braga 3, Wolves 3. Wolves had been 3-1 up, but both sides qualify there. Braga are a point clear of Wolves at the top of the table. Jimenez, Doherty and Traore all on target for Wolves. 8 o'clock kickoff in Group F, Arsenal against Eintracht Frankfurt. And of course in Group E this evening, we'll keep you right across what is happening between Lazio and Cluj in the other game in the group. But it's full live commentary. It is a final home game for Celtic in what has been a wonderful campaign so far. Celtic take on the team bottom of the table with just a point from their 4 matches. That came in the opening draw with Celtic in France. Now the return fixture. Now Celtic going in as clear favourites to go on and get the win and potentially to top the group tonight. It's full live commentary here on Sportsound on BBC Radio Scotland 810 medium wave. Celtic against Rennes with James McFadden, Michael Stewart and Paul Mitchell.
Thank you, Richard. Good evening, everyone. 4 changes made by Celtic from the side that defeated Livingston at the weekend. Interesting though, 7 of the 11 who start tonight started in Rennes. Compare that to the visitors tonight, just 4 of the 11 who started against Celtic for that draw play here tonight. That includes the goalkeeper Edouard Mendy, Bourachou, Tate and Janagnon. So they've got some untried and untested players in the red and black of Rennes here this evening. Celtic off to our left hand side, the 2 captains coming together, Scott Brown and Benjamin Bourachou. And our referee is currently speaking to them. Espen Iskas from Norway is the man in charge. The handshakes and the preliminaries are over. They'll need to get the banners off the field and then we'll be able to get underway. The 2 assistants will check the nets left and right as Celtic go into their huddle. Rennes 2 will go into huddle as well, and when they were singing "You'll Never Walk Alone," all the Rennes fans were joining in, scarves held high. Some 2,500 fans have come over from France for this one. When they booked it, they were expecting their side to be in with a chance in the group. As it is, the solitary point they gained came against Celtic in Roseanne Park at the start of this campaign. Celtic break off to our left hand side. The Rennes players still together in a huddle. You just never know what you're going to get from this Rennes side. There's players perhaps with a point to prove for the manager. They've not been involved, but what they don't have in their team is goals this season. Niang with 5 goals and Hunout with 4. Niang doesn't play at all tonight. Adrian Hunout, who's got 4 goals this term, is on the bench. So it's a largely unknown Rennes side, but I can tell you they're very tall and physical at the back, and they've got a bit of pace about them as well. So we'll see what they can do against the Celtic side, flying and looking to hit 13 points in this campaign. Underway at Celtic Park. Forward immediately, Marusa plays it down this right hand side. Silike gathers, Tall player, immediate ball into the box. Greg Taylor watches it bounce across as Del Castillo came in from that right hand side, and out of play it goes. And Greg Taylor making his European debut for Celtic on that far side, looking for some movement. Forrest comes short, midway inside the Celtic half, still haven't taken the throw. Eventually does come in. McGregor made himself available. Forward it goes, little head flick inside. Should be an easy one though for Junanyong to take. Comes back onto Muasa. Muasa overhits that. There'll be a little chase forward, but not too much. It's a simple one. We wonder, James McFadden, if Lewis Morgan might be the furthest forward player for Celtic. That's how it's looking.
Yeah, I think he came on a few weeks ago against St Mirren for Edouard, and it looked like what we thought before this game, that Christie would move up and Morgan would go wide, but he stayed in the centre, and Christie's obviously started on the right hand side, James Forrest on the left. But I would imagine that there'll be a bit of fluidity about that and a bit of freedom for Christie, Forrest and Morgan to have a bit of interchange of positions. The one thing, Lewis Morgan will run the channels and he'll stretch the game, but when you don't have the presence of Edouard to get the ball into feet and bring others into play, that's what's going to be missing, I would imagine, from Lewis Morgan's performance. He might surprise us, but even just the stature, looking up next to Niamze, is that right? Niamze,
yep.
You know, he's a big imposing centre back against typically a winger, but it's not to say that he won't have success. It's just maybe a different style for Celtic to have to adapt to early on in this game.
Celtic have the ball inside their own half. 2 minutes gone, 0-0. Ball out wide onto McGregor. McGregor out wide to Taylor. Taylor down the line looking for Forrest. Run out of play. All the noise you're hearing at the moment is coming from the Celtic fans way on the far side, and the Rennes fan are across to our right hand side. They're here to enjoy themselves and see what their side can do. Throwing over the halfway line, flicked away by Ayer. High in there, Morgan brings it down under control. Junanyong got the ball away forward into the Celtic half, and it'll be gathered by Julien. Julien set it forward onto Nchaman. Nchaman immediately under pressure from Silikake. Tall, rangy player himself. Now the ball comes out wide onto Ayer. Ayer onto Greg Taylor inside his opponent's half. Tried to move it just too quickly. Bourdieu read it and passes the ball out of play on the far side. Michael Stewart also alongside me. It's about tempo and trying to get things started, Michael.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, and exactly what Faddy was touching on with regards to Lewis Morgan at the top end of the park. It's going to be important that he does become a bit of a linked man. I'm not 100% sure that is the strength of his game though, and if it means that he stretches the game in behind and creates a little bit more space for Christie and Forrest to come into pockets, then that could be successful as well.
Celtic play the ball across the edge of the box. McGregor can't get in there, cleared by Bourdieu. Although as far as Ayer inside onto Julien. Julien back onto Ayer. All the red and black players have just moved back, allowing Celtic the ball in the centre circle. Now played out to this right hand side. Burr tries to keep it in, he didn't do so. He stepped out of play as he touched the ball. The flag up, it's a throw in to Rennes. Rennes will gather.
I also think it's important for Olivier Ncham to be getting more game time. You know, there's a lot of players in this Celtic team that have played a lot of games, you know, and Olivier Ncham's a top performer. He's a really good player that as the season wears on, you need to be getting more out of him, and he needs game time to be able to make sure that when he is called upon, he's able to step up to the plate. So this is it's a big game for Olivier Ncham, not just to get fitness but also to get a bit of confidence within himself.
Just the ninth start of the season for Ncham playing against his countrymen. Celtic have the ball inside their own half. Ayer will play it across onto Julien. Burr makes himself available on this right hand side. It's pushed away. Rafik Giatan chases it down, but the ball will come out wide onto Taylor. Taylor will return it back inside onto Ayer. Ayer gathers. Again, no real pressure, so easily Celtic can bring it out from the back. Julien, and Ncham's calling for it. It's out to Burr, wide on this right hand side. Comes on to Christie. Christie knocks it off the fullback. Moussa, and out of play it goes. He's got the best name of anybody on the field. Christ Emmanuel Fatou Mouassa. Cost a lot of money to get that on the back of the jerseys. The ball comes into Ayer. Ayer inside his own half. 0-0 here. Taylor out wide on that left hand side. Little short ball, tried to drop it off onto Forrest. Celtic tried to bring it forward, but again there's just enough players there for Rennes. Celtic play the long ball through. Edouard Mendy will come and gather. He's been sent off in this campaign, but he's back between the sticks, and it's played forward to Nagnon. Sevilla player. Out it comes wide. Little 1-2. Murasa makes it up towards the halfway line. Over the halfway line it goes. Silike was calling for it as he came through because he saw that Subachu was being taken down. Silike himself will take the free kick out wide. Giatan on that far side calling for it, and he's not going to get it. He's calling for it again. He's being ignored. The little shot comes in. The goalkeeper makes the save, and it's picked up at the edge of the box. Silike goes in, but it's not clear. It was Del Castillo who got the shot away. Giatan was calling for the ball, but he went himself. The midfielder Murasa plays the ball inside. It was a tidy enough save from Fraser Forster.
It was a great save from Forster. It's one that he has to make. It's down the middle, but it's really strong. I think he gets both hands on it, and he pushes it right to the edge of the box towards Callum McGregor, who loses the ball, but they manage to get it back. But yeah, it's a strong save. I would say it's too easy for him to get the shot away. James Forrest goes over and doubles back, and the full back goes round Greg Taylor, but it's still too easy to get the shot away from there. And but for a better strike, then it could have been real danger for Celtic.
I think it was one of those that for Fraser Forster, it's a difficult area. It's quite close to his body, so he's diving, but he's almost having to not be outstretched. And that's why when he palmed it, it was in the middle of the goal, but as James said, he got it far enough out towards the edge of the box that he cleared the initial danger round about the 6-yard box.
And Champs giving the ball away, picked up. Del Castillo gets on. Giatan will gather, pulls the ball back. Bourgeois inside his opponent's half, pulls it back inside his own half. Chinagnon plays it out. Murasa will gather, coming down this left hand side. He's accelerating away from Christie. The 2-17s. Christie did well to recover, match the run, knocks the ball out of play, throw in to Rennes, which they'll take quickly. Silike will gather, tries to work the 1-2. Loud yell as the fullback went over. The referee unimpressed, and the miracle is complete as the fullback gets up with no problem. Celtic see a man go down as well. Play on, says the referee. Lewis Morgan looks at the assistant referee and said I was pushed. A little bit of liberal interpretation of the laws of the game, allowing the game to flow. It's with Bourgeois. Bourgeois sends it out. Nagnon sends it forward. Julien is there, plays it forward onto Ncham. Ncham lifts it out wide. Great run by Forrest, just inside the box. Forrest tried to get it across, deflected back. Greg Taylor pulls it across. It's not quite what he meant. He reached the ball, he tried to get there quickly and play it first time. Del Castillo goes down that far side. Scott Brown takes him down. That's a free kick inside the Celtic half on the right hand side. The Celtic captain complains, but it was a free kick.
There just wasn't enough bodies up with James Forrest when Cham chipped the ball over the top. It was a lovely ball over the top from Olivier Cham, and there wasn't enough bodies up with James Forrest. He tried to sort of delay it, and eventually when it broke back to Greg Taylor, I'm not 100% sure what it was he was trying to do. There was a couple of guys there to pick out, but he sort of just scuffed the cut back a little bit.
He gets there too fast, so he gets there too early. He kind of has to slow down a bit. He stumbles into the cross and completely makes a mess of it. But you're right, it's a great ball, and James smashes it across, and there's a claim for a handball, but I think the defender's right there. It'd be very difficult for the handball to be given for that.
And Cham does really well. I thought his jersey pulled, the referee spotted it, and Subachu, the man born in Washington in the USA, is going to get yellow carded for doing so, and Cham was going to be away from some 35 yards from goal. The free kick is awarded. The first yellow card of the evening goes the way of Jordan Subachu.
It was good refereeing as well, because there's no doubt that Olivier Cham was getting pulled back there. He's just crouching down at the moment. When he went into the block tackle before, I wonder whether he's just hurt his medial ligament there. He certainly looks a little bit uncomfortable at the moment.
Christie is over the ball. The referee marching the wall, brings out the spray. Of course it will go back a yard or two. Christie looks. Julien is up, a couple of goals in Europe this term. Bauer is wide on the right hand side. Taylor and Forrest to the left. Christie plays it short. McGregor feeds Taylor on that far side. Deflected, and that will be a corner kick. Cross immediately deflected, so Celtic get their first corner. We've played 10 minutes, it's 0-0. Out wide on that far side, Celtic will go. And Ryan Christie will go across to take. Immediately coming out is Sacha Bouygues. Bouygues making his European debut for this campaign. Just played a couple of times, number 31. Player outside the box on that far side. Flavian Tate too. He's trying to close down any danger. There's going to be Ryan Christie. Christie lifts it in. Ayer was trying to get up there, but Silike was there. And Giatan scoops the ball forward. Chasing after it is Tate. Tate though loses out. That's neatly done by Taylor. Headed back again by Bouygues. Taken down by Encham. Encham looks okay. Tries to feed it out wide onto Forrest. Forrest comes inside then out. Can't take the ball with him though. Christie goes in. Good play by Sacha Bouygues. Did well to win the initial tackle, but Celtic have it back on that left hand side. Work the ball into the middle. Headed away. Ramsey doing just enough. And Tate will play the ball off on to Musa. Musa trying to accelerate past Barber. Got himself in a good position. And he passes the ball inside. Celtic don't gather. Sebachu gathers. Silike will play it off. Giatan will gather, moves back towards the centre circle, spins, plays it out to Tate. Tate short ball, Muasa up at the edge of the box, cuts inside. His man Julien is there inside the box and then dummies the clearance, eventually plays it down the line, hits Tate, and the ball goes out of play. It's a throw in to Celtic. Here's one for you, Michael. Stats tell you an awful lot. 59 attempts on goal for Rennes in this competition. They've scored twice. Celtic 53. They've scored 7. I say that only to prove the fact that Rennes haven't sat back despite the fact they've not won in this group.
Need to get a couple of new strikers then, don't they?
One of them was a penalty as well.
Absolutely, right? Yeah. So they've not. They get into good positions. That's the point.
I mean, look, the other thing that needs to be taken into consideration is that they've not had a great season so far in the domestic French league, and sometimes that can just play on their confidence. You're getting into areas, you're creating, you're not scoring. It definitely adds a layer of complication to a side. Sometimes when you're free flowing and things are going your way, you'll create as many chances, but you just bang them in the back of the net. And I think that's something that, having seen obviously Rennes a couple of times this season, it seems as if that's their big issue.
Celtic move forward. Taylor feeds it inside. Forrest puts it back out wide. Taylor going for the byline, tries to cut the ball back. Silike gets it away on that far side. Del Castillo tries to go in there. It's a lovely touch to get away from her, but the ball is out of play. When these sides met in France, Rennes were second. They're now 11th, just 8 points from the last 8 games.
Yeah, and we went to that game expecting a good performance from Rennes, and it just didn't happen for them. Maybe that's been the catalyst for their downturn form, because they were so disappointing that night. They never really offered much. Celtic were so good, and they were off the back of good wins domestically, but Celtic just dominated them, and obviously it looks like they haven't recovered since then, but they're still not a bad side. As you mentioned, the amount of shots that they managed to get away, I think they like to build from the back and play nice football, and at times they've tried to do that, but it's all well and good playing nice passes back to middle until we get to the front areas and you're not scoring enough goals, and that's a big problem.
Now know the scoreline here. BBC Radio Scotland live at Celtic Park. Celtic and Rennes here on match day 5 of the Europa League Group E. Celtic have qualified, but they want to win the group to avoid any of the Champions League clubs coming down in the round of 32. Rennes just a single point. They actually reached the last 16 of this competition last term, defeated by Arsenal. Ball gets played away by Ayer on that far side. And it's going to be a throw-in. Sacha Bouygues gets ready to take. He's been asked to go back a few yards by the referee. He's ignored him, so he's going to just allow him to throw the ball in anyway. Fafik Giatan will gather. Clipped up, back across. Joris Janagnon back to his goalkeeper. Mendy comes from goal, plays it out wide. Come back again to the goalkeeper. Niamzi makes himself available as Morgan tries to close down Mendy. Mendy plays it forward. Bouygues gets the header in. And just a simple little header out of play on that far side it goes. Greg Taylor will take the throw. Ayer calls for it. The edge of the Celtic box. He'll play it on to Julien. Goes against Lazio and AIK in this campaign. Barrow will gather. Goes past Tate up on the halfway line. Then decides to turn back. Having beating him, I never understand that.
It shows you that maybe there's a little bit of lacking of confidence, because he goes by he goes by Tate so easily, and he can keep driving and draw someone, you know, Moasso the fullback, and then potentially get to Christie, or just give it to Christie who's 1v1. I've no idea why he drives forward and steps back. He almost comes back round him to play it back.
It was a strange one. Ball played far side.
It was more difficult what he did. You know, he does well with his first touch. He opens up, as Faddy said there, he's passed Tate really well. The easiest thing in the world is just to continue driving forward, and it's the best thing to do. It was bizarre. As soon as he got the other side of Tate, it was as if he had an allergic reaction and thought, I need to get round the defensive side of him as quick as I can.
Which won't be the instruction for Neil
absolutely
Lennon.
not.
You know, you want him to continue going, even drive straight up the line. Ryan Christie can run inside. Someone has to go to you, or if they leave you, then you've got a great opportunity to put the ball in the box. Just really bizarre. But he done that. He played a few weeks ago, and he looked, you know, he got forward at times, but he looked so, you know, indecisive. He wouldn't play that pass. It was almost trying to be safe, and at times it's too safe.
Rennes win the ball forward, cross into the box. Castillo tries to get on the end of it. Giatan tried to feed him, but Celtic do clear at the edge of the box through Forrest. Bouet has it, right full back, all the way back it'll go. Nagnon looks ahead to see what his options are. Bourgeois flicks it out wide onto that right hand side. Giatan came short for it, but can't bring it under control, and Celtic will have a throw on that far side. Greg Taylor waits for it. Made his Celtic debut against St. Came on as a sub against Livingston at the weekend, and now his European debuts. Now played 3 times for Celtic, the same as he's done for Scotland. Ball gets thrown in. 2 Rennes players go for it. Plays to Flavien Tate. Tate moves it through the centre circle. He then decides to go back as well, back inside his own half. Moussa sends it back onto Tate. Tate playing Europe for the 3rd time this season. Been in and out the side 7 times he's played in the 17 games they've had. Mendy plays it out wide. Ginagnon tries to play it up. Del Castillo flicks it onto Bouet, the fullback. Halfway line. Turned again to Bourgeois. Bourgeois flicks it up. Samachu, the tall centre forward, can't get there. Breaks back towards Nsham, and Nsham decides to take it past Silike. Short pass. Christie works the 1-2. 30 yards from goal, goes for the shot, cheeky one. Goalkeeper gets down, pushes it away, and then Bouet has to knock it out of play. Don't think the goalkeeper was expecting that, reacted well.
No, there's no doubt he wasn't expecting it. It was good play from Cham. There wasn't anything out on the right hand side. Bauer was still deep, and having the strike was probably his only option, and it was a good one. And I think the fact that he took it so early was what caught Mendy by surprise.
Ball is back inside the Celtic half, gathered by Julien. 0-0. Celtic, that's as close as they've come so far. Brown plays it out wide onto Bauer. Bauer inside his opponent's half, turns, plays it back onto Scott Brown. Comes across to Julien. Julien out wide onto Ayer. McGregor is short, offering himself. Ayer decides to pass him. Forrest, though, decides to bring McGregor into the game. Out wide onto the right hand side to Brown. Brown onto Bauer. Maltese Bauer, Austrian internationalist.
You can see there, Paul, that Scott Brown's telling Bauer, take the ball and drive forward. The way Bauer actually receives the ball a lot of the times, he's closing his body off before he gets it.
Celtic come forward, ball into the middle, it breaks to Bauer at the edge from Christie. Didn't go and address the ball, waited for it to come down. Tate put him off then. Played it inside onto Nsham. Nsham back onto Brown. Brown 35 yards from goal, plays it back onto McGregor. McGregor onto Ayer. Ayer coming down the left hand side, plays it to Greg Taylor. First touch a little heavy, gets it back onto McGregor. Here's Brown. Brown plays it out wide onto Barry. He really has to attack here. He's outside the box, clips it in first time. Bourgeois gets it away. Brown takes down Sabatu. Referee was happy with that. Rennes fans across to right where Taylor plays it out wide. Opportunity for Celtic through Forrest. Tried to work the 1-2 with Nsham. Just blocked at the edge of the box by Bourgeois. Comes back to Morgan. Morgan to Christie. Bauer calling for it out wide inside the box. Then sends it out wide. Taken down by Forrest. Forrest then tried to clip it over. Head flicks it back onto Taylor. Taylor inside the box. Plays it through to Morgan, who goes down. The referee had a decision to make, but I think the ball had been played away as the man was taken. Referee not interested. And Rennes bring the ball away in the red and black half strips on that far side. Celtic knock it out of play. In fact, they'll knock it off Rennes. It'll be a throw into Celtic halfway line.
I think the referee was right there. I don't think it was a penalty, but Celtic have definitely just increased the intensity of their play. They quickened up the attacking play. The passes were a little bit sharper, getting into their men just that little bit quicker. It meant that they were finding just half a yard more space. Cut open Rennes, got into the box, well worked move. I don't think it was a penalty kick. I think that Lewis Morgan went down too early.
It's too difficult.
Ball on the far side. Forrest has it, attacking up at the edge of the box. Cuts inside Boo, trying to play it to McGregor, but it's still Castillo. Will gather French under-21 international player. Ball played out on the halfway line against Celtic. Have the chance to throw the ball in. They do so onto Scott Brown. Brown looks ahead, knocks it into Julien Bauer. Pulls out to this right hand side. It's back to Brown, centre circle. Pull the strings from there. McGregor out wide onto Taylor. Taylor to Forrest. Forrest inside the box. Pulls it back. Morgan! 8 yards out, minute first time. Left footed, drove it low past the goalkeeper. Lewis Morgan scores for the second time as a Celtic player, for the second time in Europe. It's Celtic 1, Rennes 0.
It's a brilliant goal, an absolutely brilliant goal. Great pass down the outside for James Forrest. There's a quick look, and it's almost, the movement from Lewis Morgan. We were asking if, because he's playing as a striker, how's he going to deal with it? And we knew he could stretch him in behind, but his movement is incredible. It's a lovely little pass. He just nicks in front of the defender, left foot, cool as you like finish. Looks like he's been playing there his whole career.
It's an absolutely brilliant goal from Celtic. Textbook, exactly what the coaches will be looking for. And wave after wave of attack. You get the full back up higher, and you get Christie and Forrest just playing off the line and inside forward position. They get to the edge of the box, and wonderful play from James Forrest just to lift his head and see where the striker is. And as James is saying there, Lewis Morgan making it look very easy. Perfect run, like you would expect from a centre forward, across the face of the defender, and just getting his left foot wrapped round into the bottom corner. And Mendy, it's past him before he can do anything about it. An absolutely brilliant goal from Celtic.
That has brought Celtic Park to life. Celtic leading by 1-0. And now here's an opportunity for Rennes to come forward. Celtic have done something against Rennes they've not done in the previous 3 matches, and that's score first. Rennes have scored first in all the previous games and have never beaten Celtic. Christie will pick up, plays the ball forward onto Nsham, and Nsham now moving away from Tate. Nsham wide on this right hand side. Tate then challenges him, and Nsham seemed to just stop for a while, allowed the tackle to be made. Muasa and Silike tried to complete the clearance. Christie used his arm to block the ball. That is going to be a free kick. And Nsham just didn't really have the options.
He did, because he looked up, and as he looked up, Lewis Morgan had peeled off the defender and pointed to where he wanted the ball. To me, it looked clear that Nsham saw it and decided to delay it for whatever reason. Maybe he felt as though it was, a square pass and maybe a bit risky, but he certainly had the option of playing into Lewis Morgan's feet because he was available and he was asking for it.
It's not, that's the thing though, Fad, it's not risky when you're in the final third. If he gets it through, Morgan's having another strike on goal. There's no doubt, 100% agree with James there. Olivier Nsham looked up, he saw that Lewis Morgan had peeled to the back post and he was making that run across the front of the defender. He should have just slipped it into that area and allowed Lewis Morgan's pace to either get the ball and have a strike, or even if it's short and the defender gets it, Morgan's putting them under serious pressure and they're facing their own goal.
1-0 Celtic lead here at Celtic Park. Rennes have it. Joris Ginagnon sold to Seville for 15 million euros and then loaned back after it didn't particularly work. Muasa comes forward, sliding in comes Aya. Muasa keeps the ball just on by the corner flag, and Celtic try to smuggle it away. Tate in there, Bauer may have hit that behind. He has done so. It's going to be a corner, and if Celtic got concerned, there's quite a fair bit of height. Sabachu is a big lad, so to come out the back, Niamsi.
Just watching that there, Muasa's ran off of Christie. Ayer's come over, and Bauer's about 25 yards up the pitch. At no point is he trying to get back in to help out.
Corner kick will come from this left hand side. Celtic leading by 1-0. So Celtic try and get organised in the middle. Corner comes in, little head flick goes right across the face of the goal. It's a really good effort. Del Castillo it was. It will run out of play. It will be a goal kick, but he got across his man, managed to get the head flick in.
Yeah, it was a great ball in, good run, and you see them go in so many times, but you know, it's just a little warning for Celtic. As I said, the chance is preventable. Obviously at times the fullback's going to run off, Christie, Aya comes over and clears it, but Bauer's too far up the pitch for me. We're looking for him to be high up the pitch when Celtic have the ball so that he's an option, but when Rennes are on the attack, he's got to cover round and make sure that he's doing his bit for the team.
Lazio 1, Cluj 0. So Lazio leading Cluj by 1-0. As coming forward are Celtic. Taylor on that far side, little pass inside onto Forrest, onto Ncham, and Ncham lifts the ball out wide onto Bauer. Bauer gets the head flick inside onto Christie. Christie plays it back onto Julien. Julien will gather, play the ball across onto Ayer. Ayer will gather, and Ayer, little ball back inside. Out wide it comes. Celtic looking, well, Forrest calling. Taylor's just in front of her. Forrest tries to find the byline. That will come off the way. That will go behind, and that will be a second Celtic corner. Celtic leading by 1-0.
Celtic have definitely just gradually improved as this game has gone on. It was a bit of a sluggish start. There wasn't enough intensity in their play. The passing was a little bit slow, but as this game has played out, they've definitely improved and thoroughly deserve to have the 1-goal lead at the moment.
Celtic with a corner from the right side of Rennes. Celtic left, and it comes pushed away from the middle. Silike was there. Celtic have Taylor back centre circle, play it out wide onto Bauer. Bauer looked ahead, had options again, but cut back in. Later on the left foot, looking for Julien, who stayed forward, gets it into Morgan. Morgan on the edge of the box. Ball breaks back onto Ncham, deflected. Great save by the goalkeeper. Oh, he stretched out his arm, managed just to hold it with the fingertips, pull it back into its body. It was deflected on the way through. That's a good stop.
That was an absolutely brilliant. I mean, looking at it from this angle, it looks as if it's destined for the bottom corner, and Mendy gets down, solid hand, and never mind palming it out. He keeps it right in his reach to be able to keep it away from. I think it was Morgan that was maybe getting back in for any rebounds that were coming off of him. Great save, but a really good strike as well from Ncham on the edge of the box there.
27, nearly 28 minutes gone. Celtic leading by 1-0. The ball comes out wide to Bauer. Bauer stretches well, holds the ball and pushes it down the line. Ncham waits for it. Bauer's gone in advance of him. Cross into the middle. Morgan tried to get in there with a clip, was knocked away by Niamse, and Celtic will concede the free kick. Gian went down. Giatan gets himself back up, but the referee was there, just giving himself the issue.
But you see where Giatan's picking that ball up. Rennes have just retreated as the game's gone on, and Celtic have become more dominant. He's picking that up, 20-25 yards inside his own half, and it was I think it was only Siebachi that was in front of him, and it wasn't as if he was particularly high up the park either. So Celtic have territorially got the upper hand here, and it's difficult to see how Rennes are going to start to make any inroads into this game.
It's tough because Scott Brown keeps dropping back into defence, so the midfield at first start to press him, then they need to retreat, but then the space is in behind the midfield, so the strikers need to chase round the three defenders, Ayer and Julien. Brown's in the middle. As soon as he gets it, he looks for McGregor. As soon as he gets it, he looks for Forrest. It's 1 and 2 touch passing that puts Celtic on the break straight away, and Rennes just don't know how to deal with it.
Celtic coming forward. Bauer on the right hand side. Poor one hits to the fullback. Breaks onto Tate, left midfielder. He's driving forward, plays it through. Giatan will gather, takes a lovely touch, then sends it out wide. Del Castillo stretches out the left foot. Now it's on the right, trying to get the ball onto the left foot. That's his favourite side. Low shot, easy take for Fraser Forster, but that's a reminder just how quickly Rennes can move.
I've always said I don't know how they're going to get back into the game, and it was a good attack from Rennes, but it all comes from the fact that Celtic attacked brilliantly. Moritz Bauer's down on the edge of the box, and it's a very, very poor cross. He gets it blocked out, and then Rennes, to their credit, they recognise that obviously there's a little bit of space to attack, and they pick out a couple of really good balls, and then they're out into the wide area and they get the 1v1, but that's actually self-inflicted from Celtic. When Bauer's into that area, you want to get your fullbacks in, and he's got plenty of time to look up and pick something out. and it was a nothing cross. In fact, it was less than nothing. It was really quite poor because it allowed Rennes, as I said, to go and counter them.
The Rennes fans across their right hand side have decided to turn back round, having done what was commonly known as the pause man. For a while, some of the Celtic fans joined in. Credit to them, they're making a racket as Celtic give the ball away again in the midfield. Bauer's not having his finest hour, I would say. Now the ball comes out to Tate, just inside the Celtic half, tries to get away from Christie. He'll buy the free kick. Christie takes him down, and the opportunity to get the ball inside the box from the right hand side if they wish.
Yeah, it was Ryan Christie that gave the ball away, but it was a terrible pass from Bauer again. He takes a touch, he looks forward. As Michael says, when he receives the ball, it never looks like he wants to go forward. He's never set to just take a touch and run up the line or play the pass, maybe miss Ryan Christie out, hit it up the inside channel for Lewis Morgan, but he plays a pass into Ryan Christie. Yeah, he can take it because he's a good player under pressure, but he'd no other option but to play it first time, and it gets cut out. So just a little bit more care from Bauer.
Silake swings the ball into the box, goes over everybody but not Scott Brown. Brown just got caught late by Niamzi, and the referee spotted that, so we're going to get a break for it. Is it possible, Michael, that he's not used to playing for a team that has got so much control of the ball, and he's not used to players like Scott Brown being able to sit and come in behind them?
Possibly, but I mean, it's basics of
He's been
passing and receiving the ball
long enough, and he trains every day.
Aye.
So I'd imagine the training is geared towards the way Celtic play. 1 and 2 touch, quick pass, and get the ball forward. We hear Neil Lennon all the time. Take a touch, get it forward, look forward, look forward, look forward.
The thing is, it's just about, it's a completely different area of the park, but you look at somebody like Callum McGregor who can take players out the game without touching the ball, and you're playing in the side of the park on the touchline. It's easier because everything's in front of you. You're not having to worry about 360 degrees round about you. He can see what's in front of him, he can see the game easily, and it's opening your body up so that when you receive it, you can easily take the ball up the line. You can take players out the game, but he is constantly closed off, and it makes it easy for the defenders because they know he's wanting to go that way, so they can actually get right up on top of him, and they're never fearful of him just nicking a ball around the corner. For where Lewis Morgan, Faddy mentioned it there, Lewis Morgan is a whippet. Now Ryan Christie steps in off the line into that wee pocket of space. It causes the fullback a real concern as to, does he go tight with him? Because if he does, he leaves that area for a ball up the line for Morgan to run onto, but Bauer's never looking for it.
Ball out of place for Celtic tonight. Forced a goal. It's Bauer, Julian, Ayer and Taylor. It's Brown, McGregor sitting, Forrest and Sham and Christie. Christie's come out to the right, Forrest out to the left, and Lewis Morgan the goal scorer, wearing 16, playing up front.
Sorry Paul, just to use your point, look at the other side. Greg Taylor's come in from Kilmarnock, and they played good football at times, but it wasn't expansive football every game, and he looks like, he played against St Mirren and he tired towards the end. It was a fast pace for him, but his 2 games for Scotland, he was excellent, and he's come in and he's getting the ball. He knows it, as a fullback, as Michael says, you see the full pitch. Your first job's a fullback. Look for my striker, look for my wide man, get the ball forward. It's not a risk, it's give them the ball early, give them time, allow them to go and attack. If you're in any doubt, hit it up the channel, and I don't mean a long channel ball, I mean a nice pass up the channel. Allow your fast striker, as Michael says, to go and fight for it and get you up the pitch. It's just about opening your body, seeing the pass. That's a low risk pass, because you're getting your team up the pitch. The defender might win it, he's kicking out for a throw in because you know that the players are putting pressure on him. Then you're up the pitch and you've got Rennes exactly where you want them.
And the thing is as well, it's about mixing it up. You can't constantly just do one or the other because it becomes very predictable. Sometimes you're obvious as a fullback, you close your body off and you just keep possession, go out the other side, but you can't just do one thing all the time because it becomes very predictable and then easy to defend.
Celtic have the ball just outside their box. Ball played forward. Julien on to Brown, out to Bauer. He'll drop it back inside once more. On to Julien, and Julien will gather. Sabachu is dropped off him. Now it's cut out to Brown. Brown plays it over the halfway line. On to Christie. Christie takes us to come back inside his own half, and Brown will play it out wide to Ayer on that far side. Celtic running the ball on the inside. Taylor fell over. Nothing untoward, he's okay. Ball comes across to McGregor. McGregor to Julian. Christie drops it back off onto McGregor. Substitution comes through the back of him. That's going to be a free kick every day. Celtic get it, take it quickly. McGregor pings it out wide onto Forrest, kills it on his chest, brings it down. Bowie came across to him, so Celtic will pull it back and gather again. Ayer sends it through, lovely little flick by Morgan onto Christie, took it back inside. Silly K came in to make the challenge, and then Morgan watched, he wanted the ball back. Christie had overstretched, caught the player, he goes down. Free kick and a yellow card for the overstretch from Ryan Christie. Didn't appear to be much intent, but there certainly was some pain inflicted, and he's the first Celtic player in the book.
I'm not sure that's a yellow card, just looking at it in real time there, but it was a wonderful move, I tell you. Christopher Ayer with a great pass right through the heart of the midfield of Rennes into Lewis Morgan and by the way, that was a lovely first time layoff from Morgan into Christie, and it's not something we've seen much of in the last year or so, but Christie just not anticipating it. Poor first touch, which led to the free kick being given away. If he'd got his first touch where he wanted it to, then he'd have been getting a strike on goal.
Morgan had made the move as well.
Yeah.
Morgan was looking for the 1-2, and I think potentially the easiest thing Christie could have done was just play it first time into the inside for Lewis Morgan, but he's so concerned with getting his touch and his shot away that he just took a bad touch and had to chase it, and whether it's even a foul, I'm not 100%.
It looked to me as if it was a block tackle, but I think you saw from Ryan Christie's reaction that he knew he'd given a foul away, but it's not a yellow card.
Booked in both matches against Rennes now. Ryan Christie scored over in France, and he's calling for the ball now. Zincham has it, plays inside to Morgan. Morgan short off to Christie. Christie rolls the ball out onto this right hand side. Bauer is there from a standing start, looks to take on the fullback. Byline clips it back up. The goalkeeper was pushed there, and that will come back. Referee right there, you're always going to get that. Mendy, to say he's making the most of it is an absolute understatement. Rolled one way, then decided he wanted to roll the other. Christie the man penalised, and that is a free kick.
I've no idea what Mendy's playing at. Whether perhaps he's maybe rolled his ankle himself or something, but it certainly wasn't a strong physical challenge.
Slight contact, not enough for that.
Slight contact, like a breeze just brushing past the man in yellow, who then, as I say, if he's done himself damage, he's done it rolling about.
We saw that in Rennes when Bayo went through.
Oh yeah,
and he got his second yellow card.
Yeah.
Mendy rolled about for ages, and I think it went back and there was hardly any contact.
Oh, there was no contact. Described as a kick to the head in the French press, unsurprisingly. Mendy, his best supporting actor,
He's limping.
TV football match has been completed.
I was being generous to him that perhaps he'd hurt himself. There's absolutely Brussels sprout wrong with him.
Yeah, well, he's got form, as James rightly says. Senegal international goalkeeper made his debut after the World Cup. He's got high hopes for 2022, and with his magical powers of recovery, he will take the free kick himself. Weaves everybody forward up towards the halfway line. We've played nearly 39 minutes here. Celtic 1, Rennes 0. Lewis Morgan, terrific goal as Celtic ahead. Morgan has the ball, hits it actually off the centre half. He then rides the challenge, tries to get the shot away. Muas, as he was getting back to his feet, the ball came to his head. He heads it only as far as Christie. Christie goes inside one, tries to go inside Muas as well. He got past Tate beautifully. Long clearing ball finds its way to Giatan. I think Giatan will lift it up. Flavien Tate will come down this left hand side. He'll stretch, but he won't be able to get after it, and the ball is out of play. It's a throw in to Celtic. Rennes have been here already this term, of course, came here for pre-season 0-0. Celtic have found a way past them. They did so after 21 minutes. Lewis Morgan on the far side. Taylor brings it back inside onto Ayer. Ayer onto Julian. Julian, he closed down. He'll take a touch, try and go past his man, plays it over the halfway line. Christie gathers, tries to go past Tate. Tate just caught him, and no more. That's going to be a free kick to Ryan Christie and Celtic just inside their own half. Rennes currently 11th in Ligue 1, although to be fair, they would go 6th if they won their game in hand, which is against the bottom side. But they have been in a little bit of free fall. Home form okay, away form has been patchy. They've not won away in 5 matches. It's gathered by McGregor. Ayer has it. Back on to McGregor. McGregor to Forrest. It's a pass that's been played many a time. Right, read it forward. Substitution gathers, big, tall, rangy, number 9. Signed last term from Rennes, under 21 international for France, but not really making much of an impact on the game. Ball is wide on that far side. Ayer just stretches away from Bray, plays the ball back inside, and Forster drops it short onto Scott Brown. Brown plays it out wide onto Taylor. Taylor back inside onto Ayer. Ayer looks for movement ahead of him. Julien, who's just strolling through this game at the moment, turns it back inside onto Ayer, and Ayer pick up, plays it on to Bauer. Bauer will be immediately closed down by Tate. William Tate, signed in the summer for decent money, over €3 million. Celtic have gathered, play at Morgan, onto Christie on the right hand side. He steps inside. Forrest was clear on the far side, but he tried to play the clever pass onto Morgan, who was intercepted, and Sham rides a couple of challenges. He was then pushed, and the referee has given the free kick as Sham had overrun the ball, and the advantage didn't really come, so he decided just after a heartbeat or two to give it the way of Celtic.
I don't mind that from Christie. You know, sometimes just looking for that eye of the needle pass. You know, Celtic, you know the patterns of play that they have.
Up the cross inside by Bauer. Lewis Morgan met it. He looks to the heavens, having got the header, because the header was straight at the goalkeeper.
He got up really well. In fact, I think he was up above the ball, and that was probably why he didn't get a good enough contact on it. But just when we're talking there about Ryan Christie trying to, you know, play that ball right through the heart of the Rennes defence, in the same vein as what I'm talking about before with other players in the park, just mixing things up a little bit different. If you go through the same phases of play, it can be predictable. Sometimes, you know, that's not a risk there when you're in the final third. Because if it comes off, it's a goal scoring opportunity. If it doesn't, you've lost possession and you're attacking third. You've got everybody behind the ball. You can still, you know, deal with it. You can try and win it back high up the park. That's definitely something, a risk, or if you want to call it a risk, it's a risk worth taking.
Forster almost played that down the middle to Bourdieu, but Celtic have gathered. McGregor has rescued it, plays it out wide to Forrest. Forrest attacking the fullback. He's inside the box, going for the byline. Low ball across, turned away, and that will go Celtic's way. Mulhaver plays the ball back onto that far side into Christie, left hand side the box, lays it off to Forrest. Forrest across, goalkeeper Mendy got the ball away, played out onto Scott Brown. Brown lifts it up towards the post, just hoping that somebody was running in there, but Celtic, the players were retreating rather than be caught in an offside position, and Mendy will come to gather. Half time is 2 minutes plus stoppage time away. Celtic, James McFadden, happy enough at 1-0?
Yeah, I think so. I think that they now have control in the game. Again, you look at Rennes, they've played out now. The last time, just after the goalkeeper's theatrics, he was wanting to play out, and the defence just telling him, no, kick it long, which just played into Julian's hands. You know, it was right down Julian's throat. Brilliant header, dominant, and Celtic were on the attack. So, yeah, it looks like they're kind of stuck. You know, they want to play from the back and build out, but they've really, at the minute, or up until now, haven't had any real success from it. Del Castillo's had a couple of shots from the wide right, but apart from that, you know, I don't think there's been too much for Celtic to be worried about.
Yeah, the former Leon Mann's been their best performer so far. He goes in and blocks the ball. Out of play it goes. Celtic have it. Taylor throws it back onto Ayer. 7th home European game of the term for Celtic. Won 5 out of 6. The costly defeat to Cluj. Cluj, though, if they fail to win in Rome tonight and Celtic win, we'll see Celtic win the group. It's Celtic 1, Rennes 0. It's Lazio 1, Cluj 0. Forward it comes for Celtic. Morgan turns it round the corner from the centre circle, plays it back to McGregor. McGregor onto Brown. Brown up to the halfway line. Didn't have enough weight in the pass, so Taylor waited on it. Played it back onto Brown. Here's McGregor. McGregor out wide onto Julien, just inside his own half. Bauer didn't show. Savachuk puts him on his backside, and the referee delayed his call and eventually gave the free kick. Has to be careful, the big man, because he's done a couple of things. Jordan Savachuk, given his frame, he's hard to hide. He's listed as 6'2", just looks taller. And it's going to be Celtic bringing the ball away through Brown, back onto Ayer. Ayer into Julien. Fourth official stands at the edge of the touchline. The Norwegian team of officials here at Celtic Park tonight. His big moment is to hold the board up. This is 1 additional minute to be played. We have entered that realm. Celtic leading by 1-0. Scott Brown has it. Brown now moves the ball over the halfway line. Then he made a great run in advance, only to see Forrest play the ball back onto Taylor. Celtic look like they're going to be happy to get in at half-time, leading by 1-0. Julien plays it forward, looking for Christie, headed away. Muasa Tate will bring it down. Bauer wraps his foot round him and wins it. Tall figure of Ginagnon does enough to get away from Morgan, but Celtic break again. Here's Christie up at the edge of the box, opens up from shot, and it's in! The goalkeeper fluffs the save. He got two hands into it, and he pushed it into his own net. Ryan Christie on the score sheet. It could be enough for Celtic to win this group. Celtic 2, Rennes 0.
It's a howler from the goalkeeper, you have to say, but listen, it's well worked from Celtic. They build the play, they keep the ball, they try and draw Rennes out, and they have to fight. Of course, they get a little bit of luck. As soon as Ryan Christie comes inside onto his left foot, Lewis Morgan makes a brilliant run again. He can slide him in, but we know that he's got a great left foot, and he hits a shot to his near post. The goalkeeper makes a real mess of it. But if Michael spoke about it, you've got to mix up. You can't keep trying to play the pass or playing the cross. You've got to take the risk. Goalkeeper's got to save it, but I wouldn't say that Celtic don't deserve to be 2 goals in front.
Ryan Christie is just so clinical. It's unbelievable. Yes, the goalkeeper could do better. It bounces about 2 yards in front of him, which has obviously made it more difficult. But Ryan Christie is such a figurehead of this team now, and that is a huge goal right before half-time.
It's a 13th of the season for Ryan Christie, a 7th in European football for Celtic. The Rennes players are staying on the pitch. The half-time whistle has gone. Fatu Mausa has called the Rennes players into the centre circle for a word. I've not seen that in quite a while. Mendy comes forward to join them. So Celtic have gone inside. They're going to be in their dressing room in a minute. But there's a players-only meeting happening with Rennes. Interesting times at Celtic Park. Half-time, Celtic 2, Rennes 0.
Celtic in the Europa League. Live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
It's a Celtic goal!
Hello, I'm Denise Mina. Please join me as I explore some of the most famous and bizarre cases in Scottish legal history.
Someone is going to inherit all of these estates across the whole of Scotland, so who's going to do it?
On our first programme, we'll be heading back to the 18th century for an almighty battle royale between the two richest families in Scotland.
The fortune, the property, the money that was at stake.
It involves lies, jiggery-pokery,
Paris,
investigators, priests, rope climbers,
stolen babies, gypsies. It's got it all.
It's got it all.
It is in every paper for months and months and months.
Denise Mina's Case Histories returns Tuesday from 1:30 on BBC Radio Scotland.
Earlier this evening, following a 2-2 draw in the Netherlands against Feyenoord, Rangers went top of Group G with 1 game to go. Right now, Celtic will finish top of Group E. They're 2-0 up at half-time against Rennes. Lewis Morgan and Ryan Christie. Lazio 1, Cluj 0. They're into the 3rd minute of stoppage time there. 1-0 thanks to Joaquin Correa's goal in the 24th minute. That would see Lazio move on to 6 points. Cluj would remain on 9. Celtic, of course, would move on to 13. And that would be all sorted out ahead of their trip to Transylvania to take on Cluj. It is now half-time in Rome, where it's Lazio 1, Cluj 0. Correa with that goal. And if you missed it earlier, I mentioned that 2-2 draw for Rangers. Young boys were 1-0 up against Porto with 14 minutes to go, and then 2 goals in the space of 3 minutes from Vincent Aboubakar gave Porto the win and gave them a real chance of qualifying from the group, because they now have a final game at home to Feyenoord. They've disposed of Young Boys in terms of the head-to-head. So essentially they're ahead of them, both sides, on 7 points. But it's Rangers who top the group on 8. I'll run through some quotes from Steven Gerrard in a moment or two, but let's reflect on another excellent 45 minutes for Celtic in the Europa League, James McFadden. It's a campaign that just continues to impress, isn't it?
Yeah, it does. Every time that there's a game, we speak about how good Celtic are. I said it after the away game against Rennes. They've nothing to fear because they've controlled the game so far. Just speaking a bit to Michael, if Rennes want to play football and they want to build from the back, but it's far too slow. It's playing into Celtic's hands. You know, Celtic can go and press the game. They can sit off. They can win the ball, the long ball. They're winning second balls. They're creating chances. They're getting crosses in the box. They just look so much ahead of Rennes at the minute that it's frightening.
Well, it's frightening, but it's Michael. It's great to watch, isn't it? Scottish team outplaying a team from Ligue 1.
There's no doubt about it. It's great to see.
You enjoying that pie? I'll go to Tom English, shall I? Well, you're
Sorry,
fine. You're fine.
I've finished my orange. Is what is.
Well, I was going to say it's not like you, because normally you're into the fruit and nuts.
Yeah, my orange. I've had one bite of the pie, but the orange has been demolished.
Okay.
It's no. Look, it's great to see the fact that Celtic have completely dominated that first half. And as the game wore on, Rangers started to retreat more and more into their own half. They're lacking, Paddy was talking about there, they're lacking any real intensity in their play, and Celtic's intensity has increased as the game has gone on, and they've dominated it. Possession, territorially, chances, and they're 2-0 up, and they deserve to be 2-0 up. And you look at, constantly looking at the guys that are in the Celtic team that obviously are mainstays for the national side as well, and it's good to see that they are big players for the Celtic team, competing on the European stage, and as you just said there at the outset, dominating opposition from a good calibre that they're dominating here. It's not as if there's some sort of minnows. No. This is a good team.
Yeah, just like you look at the two groups, Tom English, you got Rangers in with young boys, Feyenoord and Porto. Big names, and not giant names, but big names in a European sense. Celtic, Cluj, Lazio, Rennes, these are all teams who have made their mark in European competition, who have played in the Champions League in some cases quite recently. This is a fantastic campaign, and it's one. We touched on this last time round. Just in terms of the coefficient, the way they're clocking it up, these two, we're going to be up to the point now where there will be a second team in the Champions League for Scotland the season after next, if it carries on like this.
Yeah, it's amazing the kind of transformation in the last number of months for Celtic and for Rangers, obviously. Celtics look so comfortable in this. The boys were saying they look so comfortable. They look like they're playing a kind of middle order Scottish Premiership team.
Yeah.
Do you know that? We've seen this so many times. It's just the opposition happened to be French tonight, but it could have been, a team from 6th or 7th in the Scottish Premiership. It's that kind of dominance, that kind of comfort. Okay, Rennes looking a little bit threatening on the counter-attack from time to time. But they're 2-0 up at half-time. They're missing one of their best players at Edouard. It doesn't matter. They haven't skipped a beat. Lewis Morgan playing out of position, I think, has been excellent. And that is a challenge now for Celtic. What do you do with Lewis Morgan? Because he's not going to be playing in that position. He's clearly, when his confidence is up, he's a very good footballer, and he'd be a big asset to this squad. But they can't get enough games into him because the competition for places in his natural position is so high. So that is a big. I suppose it's a nice challenge to have, but it is a challenge for them. They look very, very good. They look so confident. They look so well drilled. They all know what they're doing. They all know what they're supposed to be doing, and they look hungry. Really, really good.
No, almost all of them look like they know what they might be doing.
Well, all of them. But I'll give Bauer. I mean, you're being very cruel, the pair of you and Bauer. But he has looked hesitant. He looks like a guy who wants to get through the game because he doesn't have a lot of confidence.
He's playing it safe. He's playing it safe, and he needs to come in. Jeremy Frimpong can burst onto the scene, and everybody's speaking about his attacking threat, his dynamic. Bauer, he's quick. You've seen it early on. He goes by Tate like he's not there.
Across the ball,
and goes all the way around him to go back the way. Just keep going. And it's not that he hasn't played a lot of football. Of course, he's been in and out the side, but he's got a chance to really go and try and make that spot his own. And he's struggled. You look at the other side. Greg Taylor's come out in from the cold, and the interplay between him and James Forrest. All right, maybe not at times when they're getting on the ball, but Forrest comes inside, Taylor goes round him. Forrest is wide, Taylor comes inside. There's an understanding, there's a recognition that Greg Taylor is playing with James Forrest. That is a partnership. Bauer, on the other hand, just looks like he's kind of stuck in between. He doesn't know whether to push on. At times he's coming too deep, and then He'll go deep for the ball. If it's Julian that's got it, he'll play it forward. The gap's too big for Bauer to make up. Then he gets there, they might lose it, and he needs to run all the way back. So it's a bit indecision. We're not saying that Bauer's a poor player, because he has played well at times this season.
Yeah,
but it's just a bit of indecision, maybe small lacking in confidence. You know what it's like as a experienced player when a young guy comes in, a young hungry guy that wants to come in and take your team
in love with
absolute no fear whatsoever, and his performances have been of the highest standard. So you can see why there's a bit of indecision. Have to give him credit. He get down the line and put on a brilliant ball for Lewis Morgan, the one where Michael says it gets too high, and Paul was mentioning he's looking to the heavens. He's looking to the heavens because he knows he's got to do better. The movement from Lewis Morgan has been unbelievable at times, you know. And do you know what the key thing for Lewis Morgan is tonight? Usually when he comes onto a game, he gets put wide and he thinks he needs to beat the world. Tonight he's getting the ball, he's holding it in, laying it off, 1-2 touch, keeping it simple, making his moves, simplifying the game. He is a good player. We've just not been able to see the best of him, but I think he's had a very good first half tonight.
We spoke beforehand, Michael, about the potential of seeing Ryan Christie, because we thought it was going to be him. Maybe Lewis Morgan will be the answer then for Scotland playing through the middle.
I wouldn't get that far ahead of ourselves. Look, he's had a good first half. Obviously took his goal very well. You know, great movement from Morgan, but I mean, the important thing for Lewis Morgan is that he's surrounded by good players as well, because you know they're getting him to be able to show his ability in certain areas. If it was a back against the wall type performance where they were looking for a centre forward to hold the ball up, then clearly he's not that type. But he's got two guys up there alongside him with Forrest and Christie, who pick up really intelligent areas and allow Lewis Morgan to stay centrally and to not have to be a target man. And I think on occasions he's shown some really neat touches and intelligent play as well. Look, I was just going to touch on Bauer there. I didn't want anybody to start getting the impression that he's had a nightmare, because he's not. It's just tactical little things that he clearly isn't on the same wavelength as a lot of the other players. He's kept the ball safe. It's not as if he's given the ball away willy-nilly, but it's decision making with his passes, whereas a lot of the Celtic players, they'll play that riskier ball, they'll cut open a defence, or they'll take players out of the game. Bauer has the chance, as Faddy's talked about here tonight, to go and stake a claim, because he's got tough competition for that position now. And there was one instant just near the end of the first half where he was up high, there was loads of space for him to stay in that position. Tate was a little bit higher up in terms of closer to the Celtic goal, and he ran way back so that he was goal side of Tate, even though Celtic were in possession. So it was like, if he received the ball, Tate would have been able to close him down. But the position he had to begin with was going to take Tate out the game when Julian passed it to him. And it just seems as if he's a little bit unsure of, do I stay up high, do I come deep? And it's those little things that he has to get right, because Jeremy Frimpong has got that down to a T, and El Hamid as well is a good operator.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating, the battle, but certainly Frimpong seems to be in pole position. Just a quick word, we touched on the fact it's been shaping up to be another excellent night for Scottish sides in European competition. Morelos now, Tom, 24 goals this season. That's 13 in Europe. It's a new record for a player playing for a Scottish team. It's surpassed the 12 that Henrik Larsson scored back in the early 2000s. Yeah. I gather Stephen Gerrard, talking to the press afterwards, has said, look, he's not for sale at any price. the interest is going to be getting higher and higher.
Big time, yeah. Because, he's doing it at a higher level this season. His discipline has been sorted out. Gerrard has done a phenomenal job with him. Morelos' game has gone to another level. You look at the goals he's getting, the winner against Legia Warsaw that put him into the group stage, the decisive goal against Porto in the 2-0 win, both goals tonight for a 2-2 equaliser for the point against Porto, 1-1. Important goals, defining goals, and relentless. I mean, his record now is off the scale, and all of he's only 20. What is he? 23.
Yeah.
He's got his whole career ahead of him, and yet he's playing at this level. Yeah. I mean, I think everyone was kind of scoffing at Rangers rejecting 40 or 50 million. I think in the old vernacular of the tabloids, their mettle will be tested in January.
Well, it'd be fascinating if someone comes in at that kind of... I mean, it's the kind of money that the big clubs are throwing away these days.
Well, if Ollie McBurney is worth 20 million,
Wow.
You know, well, when I say they got 20 million for him, I don't say he's worth 20 million.
How many Ollie McBurneys make up on
He's worth
Alfredo
it if they pay
Morelos?
him. If they pay 20 million, he's worth it.
Absolutely, and like, you know, you don't know what clubs in the Premier League are prepared to pay if they're pushing for European places or pushing to get out of relegation trouble. What are they prepared to pay? I mean, it would be
They're not going to be paying 40, 50 million.
No, they're not.
No.
But they could be paying 20 or 30.
Well, do you know the thing is,
potentially, Michael, they could.
Alfredo Morelos has really answered the critics in regards this season to temperament and scoring in bigger games. So there's no doubt that his value has increased.
Yeah.
You know, for potential suitors. What that figure is, it comes back to what Paddy is talking about. It depends what somebody's willing to pay. It's very difficult to say, but because of the things that Morelos has done this season, there's a lot of question marks that were lingering, you know, over his head. They're starting to disappear, and with that, the value goes up.
Yeah,
and Steven Gerrard deserves a lot of credit. I think Tom touched on it there. To have really turned around in such a short period of time a guy who there was big question marks about.
Yeah, not just big question marks from the critics or from the media or from those on the outside, but Steven Gerrard himself spoke. I mean, at times he sounded exasperated last season.
Numerous times.
And so he's clearly, somehow, he's got through to him, and my goodness, what a player.
Excellent.
He has been for Rangers. So 2-2 for Rangers this evening. They are top of Group G. Celtic started the night top of Group E, and they've now solidified their position there. Right now, as it stands, they will ensure that they finish as group winners and head into a seeded position in the knockout stages. 2-0, Morgan and Christie on target. It's back to James, Michael and Paul Mitchell.
Thanks, Richard. Underway at the start of the second half. Celtic 45 minutes away from winning the group. Should there be no change in the way the scoreline is leaning. Lazio leading Cluj by 1-0. Carrera with a goal after 24 minutes here. Celtic leading by 2-0. Celtic in the green and white hoops, white shorts, white socks, topped off with green going from right to left as we watch on the main stand here at Celtic Park against Rennes. Their traditional kit, a half black and red jersey, black shorts and black socks. The back of the jersey is all red with a white number. McGregor has it, plays it back inside onto Ayer. Ayer pushes the ball across onto Julien. Julien plays it back to Ayer. Ayer will gather. Right footed, goes past two, then nice little pass up. And Forrest goes down. The referee, there's two players in his way, but he still decided it was a free kick taken quickly by Greg Taylor. Gets things moving, and Scott Brown is there. Celtic will be going for the kill, try and find an early third goal to allow them to relax.
You can just, I mean, Rennes look like they're trying to, you know, engage a little bit higher up the park, but it still lacks any real, you know, intensity. I think is the word that, you know, I've used a number of times tonight, and I think it's appropriate. You know, they're a little bit higher up, but it's still very passive. You know, Christopher Ayer started running in an area where you're thinking, well, this could be dangerous because he was going into two or three bodies. But again, they were just very easy-ozy about it. And if Ayer's able to slip it off to James Forrest from there.
Bar with a pass into Ncham, and Ncham gets to the Forrest. Forrest pulls it back across. It was in for Greg Taylor, and Greg Taylor couldn't bring it under control. Keeps the ball almost in, rattles himself off the corner flag, and the ball does go out of play. It's going to be a throw into the visiting scene. Celtic are forcing goal. It's Bauer, Julien, Ayer and Taylor, Brown and McGregor. Then it's Christie and Ncham. Forrest with Morgan up front. The ball is out of play. It's bouncing around in the crowd. Of course, there's an automatic, another ball comes on. Multi-ball system used. So Celtic get it quickly through Taylor. Taylor lays it off to the goal scorer Morgan. Holds off his man. Plays the ball back on to Scott Brown. Brown on to Julien. Julien centre circle. Right hand side. Pushes it out wide. On to Bauer. Bauer just playing for the 7th time for Celtic. Just the 5th start for him. Back on to Scott Brown. Scott Brown himself racking up the European appearances. 116 tonight. They've played in 15 straight European matches coming into tonight. Just that stalwart with the big nights, the big games, or be it the qualifiers. Scott Brown is always there. Ball is out of play on this near side. Bowie has to go back inside his own half, pushes it outside the box. Goalkeeper will come to get it and thump the ball up towards the halfway line. Offside flag goes up. I applauds the Norwegian officials, his fellow countrymen. There is going to be a chance for Celtic to get the ball forwards. It's Mendy in goal. It's Boy, Jinanyu, Namzi and Mausa, Del Castillo, Buraju, Siliki and Tate, Giatan and Sibachu, the players up front. No changes made as yet by either manager. Julien Steven, whose dad G is the manager of the French national team. As Sibachu gathers, big tall, rangy number 9, plays it out wide to Del Castillo, probably the best player, but he's been blocked off by 2, and Sham completes and plays it on to Taylor. Taylor though doesn't put it round the corner, puts it out wide on the left hand side. Out it goes. Neil Lennon prompted out of his technical area. It's going to be a throw into Rennes on this near side.
Great recovery from Celtic. It's a bit slack getting played into the midfield, but they recover well and win it back and almost catch Rennes on the counter. But Michael was speaking about earlier, Rennes coming to try and press and they lack intensity, and that's absolutely right. But to help or to hinder them, Celtic's movement's incredible. James, if Ayer's stepping out, Forrest comes short, Greg Taylor goes wide, so it's asking questions constantly of Rennes. They think they're there to press, they're not really set, and Celtic are making it very difficult for them to get anything out of this game.
Rennes have lost on the previous trips to Glasgow, both to Celtic and to Rangers. They've won a free kick. Callum McGregor has taken down his man. Del Castillo comes in there, he goes down. Scott Brown gets himself involved. Del Castillo remains down. McGregor comes in. Here comes Niamsi. He's probably the tallest guy in there. He's trying to sort things out. From when Del Castillo went down on the ground, there's a whole gaggle of players around the referee. Del Castillo gets himself back up. He's pointing at Scott Brown. The referee's now trying to pull Del Castillo out towards him. Scott Brown as well. And there's representation of Rennes players around the referee, listening intently into what the referee is saying. I think Del Castillo is saying that Scott Brown came along and thumped him down the ankle. Scott Brown is having none of it, and at the end of the day it is going to be a free kick, and Benjamin Bourgeois prepares to take. A lot of fuss about nothing.
Well, I couldn't see what happened. I saw Scott Brown get in to get involved. Whether he stood on him or not, I'm not entirely sure, but no, it was right in front of the referee. He's obviously not seen it. Assistant referee's got a good line of vision as well, and yeah, I think Castillo's just trying to cause a bit of bother for Scott Brown.
So Bourgeois, former Lens player, signed in July 2017, plays it into the box. Ginagnon has it, flicks it out wide, long high one, up and over it goes behind, and it is going to be a goal kick. And Michael Stewart also alongside me, they need to make more of these set plays. They look a little bit lacklustre and lacking in an idea.
I think it just typifies the overall performance from Rennes. They are lacklustre. They look as if they are short on confidence and belief that they can get anything from this game, which I think it was Tom that said it at half time, with it looks as if in large chunks of that first half it's a performance from Celtic against a sort of mid-table Scottish Premiership side, and you can see sometimes when teams are here and they're a couple of goals behind, there is a lack of belief that they can get anything from this. Now if Rennes were to get the next goal, then the game is right in the balance, but they don't look as if they believe that they can get anything from it, Rennes.
Del Castillo come down forward, down the right hand side. Ayer slid in, won the tackle, got himself up, pushed the ball down the line. It was returned again by Rennes, but Celtic did well to clear, and Bourgeois gets the ball as it's knocked out of play into Bowie. He gets it back, lovely 1-2. Giatan goes forward. Celtic too many players there again for Rennes. Bowie gathers once more, and with 31 distinctive hairstyle, and Sham plays the ball inside. Opportunity for Celtic to get it moving. Beautiful pass out onto Forrest. Forrest then lays it out wide on the right hand side. Bauer will gather, keeps it in, now cuts inside, little pass round the corner, didn't communicate well with Sham, who'd gone one way, the ball went the other, and Rennes could gather and clear. Celtic still leading by 2-0.
It was a good chance to break, and it was a good, the right idea from Forrest, maybe a bit heavy for Bauer, and again for him, for Bauer it was the right idea to cut inside. Cham had made the run outside him, and they tried to play the reverse. Whether Cham thought he was going to play it or not, I think it was a good idea, and as Michael says earlier, mix your game up, and if you're going to take a risk, take it in the final third, and Celtic recovered well anyway and keep the ball. But earlier on, or straight away in the second half, Bauer had the ball and he played a nice little pass forward into Cham, so I wonder if Neil Lennon spoke to him and told him just a bit more belief, a bit more intent to go forward, and he's certainly getting higher up the pitch as well.
And Sham to Morgan into Bauer, right on cue by the corner flag, lays it back onto Morgan. Morgan clips the ball in deep. An opportunity for Celtic, and Sham tried to go in there. The shot was blocked. It goes behind. Greg Taylor was a man who got himself into the box to try and play it back to Sham, but it has gone behind. Celtic will have a corner. Another goal, you suspect it is game over here, as it is Celtic pretty comfortable at 2-0 in this match day 5 Europa League Group E. Celtic, as things stand, would stand on 13 points. Tally they haven't reached before. Christie with a corner from the left hand side, plays it in deep, waiting at the edge of the box. For it was Forrest. Good effort in, but blocked by the defenders, then knocked away. Savachu's having a terrible game, just giving the ball away once more. And that far side trying to go in and make the tackle, and it's knocked away. Muasa, Silike plays it down onto Tate. Tate tries to get the better of Bauer. Knocks the ball out of play, doesn't get the throw in though, came off him last. And Rennes will get the ball thrown in. A little push over from Scott Brown. Scott Brown is going to be yellow carded for going through rather than going round his man. The referee takes exception. Scott Brown throws the arms out in exasperation, and Scott Brown is the second Celtic player yellow carded.
There was nothing in that, but from Scott Brown's perspective, he knows that, you know, the referee's keeping a close eye on him, but to me that looked like there was nothing in that. Is it Silike that he went in?
Silike is down now.
Yeah.
He's a tall lad, he's 6'1". You know, he made himself big, and he certainly seemed to buy the foul, but he has stayed down, so perhaps something twisted will give him the benefit of the doubt on this occasion.
Mendy stayed down in the first half as well.
He bounced into the back of him, but
yeah,
for me, come on,
it's no basketball we're playing.
You're right. Scott Brown does barge in, but how many times you see a little bit of a nudge on the way, you know, just to let the midfielder, the defender strike, let the player know that you're there, so that the next time, you know, they have to do it quicker, or it panics them into making a mistake. But there's absolutely no need for him to be down for this length of time.
I just think it was silly from Scott Brown, because he knows that, as I said, the referee just a couple of minutes ago had a word with him. That's the sort of thing that, you know, you do when the referee's not had a word with you, and you get away with it all day long. You're not getting a booking for that.
What's making me smile about that is one of their warm-up exercises just before they finished, they had two coaches, and the player would run into the coach, nudge him,
and fall
move back, not fall down. They weren't practicing, trying to stay up, being knocked off balance. It's not working.
I didn't see that.
Yeah,
I didn't see that fall.
They did it on the left-hand side, then came out onto the right-hand side. It was slightly bizarre. I don't think I've seen that before, but it's obviously not working. Bauer has it on that far side. Celtic leading by 2-0. Muasa, a little shove in the back on the far side, and Celtic, Christie felt hard done by there, but the ball is out of play. It's a throw-in to Rennes. Rennes didn't travel well in their first couple of seasons in this competition. Lost the first 9 away games, a couple of successes last term, including at Real Betis, and they've reverted to type in this campaign. Where he plays the ball in the middle, good effort, ball breaks back, Savachu hits the post, the initial save was made, Silike goes in, he hits it at the goalkeeper. Well, it was a brilliant ball across from me. The ball knocked into the goalkeeper, turned away, back to Savachu, 7 yards to go, thumps the left-hand post.
Fraser Forster saved that one off the post. That was an incredible double save from Forster. The first one's straight at him, but he's right at it again, and it's a brilliant save again. Fraser Forster must be getting a little bored and wanting a bit of the action, but 2 unbelievable saves.
You talk about why Rennes are, 59 shots on target and only scored 2. There's your perfect example. You know, that is a gilt-edged opportunity that should have been in the back of the net. I didn't see Foster's second save. Obviously, I saw the first, which was right at him. Good reactions to try and get it away. But you know, that was a perfect example of they've not been great in the game so far. But I just said that if they get the next goal, then there's a chance for them to get something. It would have been a goal against the run of play, but the opportunity was there, and Sabachi, particularly the one the rebounds back to him, he's got to do better. And yeah, I think, as Fadi was saying there, if Forster gets a touch on it, then it's a wonderful touch to get it onto the post or the bar.
Absolutely tremendous double save. The man with number 67 on the back. You're missing none of the action. Celtic were man down on the far side. Can't quite see. It's either Lewis Morgan or Christie.
I think it is Morgan, yeah.
Yep. is one of the two way on the far side as we watch one or two players trying to keep themselves warm. Celtic physio team is on, and it's the kind of night you're leading by 2-0. You won't take any chances with anyone, and they'll just check that all is okay. And Forster with that double save to keep Celtic's 2-0 lead intact. It remains Lazio 1, Cluj 0. Celtic currently will win the group with a game to spare, and that would be impressive. Ball is out of play on that far side. It's going to be a throw-in to Celtic. 29th game of the season already for Celtic. Failed to score in just one of them, that against Livingston. Ball through into Sham, and Sham back to Burr. Burr, little shuffle, tries to go on the outside. Tate goes in there, does enough. Muasa then clips the ball away on the as far as Brown on the right hand side inside his opponent's half. Silike then brings it away, nice pass inside. Giatan, good balance, has to pull back. He's been trying to support the striker, but he's been pulled back so often, and now they'll bring it out from the back. Junagnon out wide onto Bui. Wears 31, looks to get this one into the box. Higher, scoops it away high, and Chan waited for the ball to bounce, and it spun over his head. Giatan gathers, but McGregor's in there. Brown plays it away as far as Silike. Silike will gather, tries to play it out wide onto Tate. Muasa's on the overlap on that left hand side. First time he's really had a chance in the second half to get there. Sends a cross in deep, takes a couple of bounces inside the box, and comes out onto Greg Taylor. Taylor wears 3, playing for Celtic for the third time. Plays it forward. Morgan touched it inside, but Silike, lovely little shuffle of the feet, has it. Giatan has a man outside him, up at the edge of the box, trying to find the byline. Now you decide to pull it back. There was no way through past Celtic on that occasion. And Forrest is back, lifts up his foot, pushes it inside. Silike is there, overstretched. Celtic get it away through Brown, almost a nonchalant pass on to Morgan. Morgan goes past his man, then got held up. That is going to be a yellow card, and it's an easy one. Gersino Niamze, French youth international player, he gets back up, but he sold it that way. Lovely movement from Lewis Morgan.
It was good play. You know, it's an important strength to actually recognise what your attributes are. And Lewis Morgan there, he's quick, he knows that, and he utilises it there. The spacing behind the defenders are holding a high line. He's got 2 of them round him, knock it past them and just open your legs, and clearly he got pulled back. I think it was Yamsey that pulled him back there, and it was a clear foul, but good play from Lewis Morgan, good awareness.
It's one of them as well, sorry Paul, where you know that if you hit it into the space, there's more chance of you getting a foul anyway. You know, if he lets you go, great, you'll run and you'll catch it, but sometimes, you know, because you're used to running at players, you can see that either the guy's going to come through the back, or you're going to just win that foul. But equally, you know, whether you got to end it or you win the foul, you're taking the pressure off, you're getting your team up the pitch. It's very clever play from Lewis Morgan.
Celtic leading by 2-0 earlier on today. Rangers and Feyenoord in Holland was 2 apiece. Little ball played back onto Forster. Forster comes out and gathers. Jordan Sebachu came forward and tried to put some pressure on the goalkeeper. Sebachu, 25 goals in 75 games for Rennes, an impressive 1 in 3. And he's not having a good season. This is his 14th game this term, and he's yet to find the back of the net. Celtic gather. Christie back heel was beautiful onto Ncham. Ncham plays it out wide. Here comes Forrest up at the edge of the box. Taylor on the overlap. Gathers has to control the ball with the right foot, but he was in behind him. Gather played it back onto Forrest. Forrest back to Taylor. Taylor tries to drag back to get away from Del Castillo. Del Castillo takes down Greg Taylor. Celtic will get the free kick. Forrest over it immediately. Tries to get things moving. Plays it inside onto McGregor. McGregor pulls it back to Julian. Out wide onto Bauer. Celtic move it from left to right. Now back into the middle. Christie trying to find somewhere to go. Has to push the ball back onto Ayer. Ayer will gather again. Looks ahead. Bauer calling for it on that right hand side. Brown has it inside his own half, and Ncham decides to play it all the way back to the goalkeeper. Or once more onto Scott Brown. Brown onto Ncham. Ncham trying to ride the challenge. He does so. Good power. Plays it out wide onto Taylor. Taylor gathers. Left fullback over the halfway line. Forward onto Forrest. Forrest back into Ncham. Ncham's had a decent game, but has been robbed there by Del Castillo. Brown then robs him. Silike robs Brown. Giatan has it, tries to get into the Celtic half. His route is being blocked by the hard-working Callum McGregor. Taylor thought he'd knocked it off his man. He didn't do so. It's a throw-in, and it remains Celtic 2, Rennes 0. We have played 63 minutes of this match.
good pressure from Celtic. You know, they're showing a real hunger and desire to trying to go forward, but when they lose it, they're getting numbers back and making it very, very difficult for Rennes. They're kind of suffocating them. Anytime one of them gets the ball, they're backing their numbers and making it very, very difficult, and it must be really, really hard to play against when teams they've got such an attacking threat, but they're pressing you and making it very, very difficult to play in.
It's going to be a change for Rennes as Celtic come forward. Lovely angle ball, left hand side onto Forrest. Forrest back into the middle. Morgan has it, wasn't sure where it was. Mendy, he came in. I thought he took him down, and the ball gets played away. Well, Morgan is on his backside looking ruefully at the referee.
It's got to be a penalty, Paul, surely, because Lewis Morgan is between Mendy and the ball. You know, for Mendy to get the ball, it would seem to me as if he's had to go through the Celtic striker. I mean, I'd love to see a replay of it, but my instinct is it's got to be a penalty. You know, Lewis Morgan got across the face of the defender. He didn't really know where the ball was, but he ended up being between the goalkeeper and the ball. For the goalkeeper to come away with the ball, he's got to have fouled the striker.
Ball is knocked out of play on this near side. James McFadden.
Yeah, just waiting for the referee to point to the penalty spot. It's incredible. As Michael says, there's no chance, or from here it looks very, very difficult to see how he gets any of the ball before he takes Lewis Morgan out. You're right, he spins round, he's not quite sure where the ball is, but he reacts quick enough to get his body in between Mendy and the ball, and you're just waiting for him to slot it away, and it looked like a penalty from here. You're right, you'd have to see it again, but the referee's in a brilliant position to call it.
Ball played out wide, opportunity for Rennes on the angle. Muasa got the ball away. Forster with a good save to push the ball away. Celtic almost undone out of nothing on that far side. Del Castillo has gathered, he'll play it back. Silike, 35 yards from goal, goes for the shot, goalkeeper punches it away. Not sure if that was creeping in or not from this angle. Trevor Forster making sure, punching the ball away. Corner to Rennes.
Well, Fraser Forster's had more to do in the last 10-15 minutes than he has for the rest of the game, and I wouldn't say that Rennes have upped anything or been any real noticeable gear shift, but they've definitely been able to get a few more shots on goal, and that's why that would have been important for Celtic to get that penalty to try and go 3-0 in front.
Corner kick to be taken from the left hand side, played in. Scott Brown got in. Lucas de Cunha has come on for Rafik Giatan. The change was made as Bauer gets the ball away. It's a poor one. It's going to be picked up by Ginagno. Ginagno tried to play it forward, and then Silike goes through. Bauer goes down. That's a free kick. The assistant on the near side flagging for it. Celtic are going to make a change. It looks like Mikey Johnston is going to come on. So Johnston, who played in the qualifiers, played it both against AIK, played against Cluj as well. He's about to come on. James Forrest's work is done. James Forrest's 93rd European appearance ends, and Mikey Johnston comes on. And Johnston with the opportunity to get some game time. He's been out for a little while. An opportunity to come on and play. We last saw Mikey Johnston back against Rangers just after the game against AIK.
Well, it's good to see Mikey Johnston back because he started the season on fire. He was Celtic's go-to man in the early part of the season, and he looked as if he was going to be a really influential player for Celtic this season, and I think he's a good chance he still will be. So it's great to see him getting back onto the park and getting some getting some part of this game.
Forward come Celtic. Morgan bundled off the ball. Bourgeois gathers inside to the substitute, Acuna. And now Celtic leading by 2-0, been slightly more uncomfortable. This has been the pattern for Rennes this season. They get shots on target, not altogether brilliant ones, forcing the goalkeeper to make saves, but largely, James, saves that goalkeepers would be expected to make.
Yeah, but you still need to make them. You're talking about saves goalkeepers should make. Mendy should do better with Ryan Christie's effort. It's a good clean strike, but he should do better with it. So yeah, you've got to ask the question. Foster's come up with some good strong hands tonight. The shot from the left hand side, I think it was Sabatu. It's a decent strike. It comes across him. He does everything you would expect. It's a good save from Foster, but he palms it away so far out of danger that makes the save all the more impressive. And Yeah, you've got to do the simple things really well, and Fraser Forster's done that tonight. I think he's been excellent since he came back to Celtic, coming up with some real big saves at big moments, and you can see why Neil Lennon was desperate to bring him back.
There's a free kick on that far side, goes away of Rennes. Celtic gets it in, breaks past Del Castillo. So actually almost in there, and Christie has to go inside his own box, just outside the 6-yard box on the right hand side, to knock it into the crowd on that far side. Throw in taken quickly. Mouassa looks for it, plays it back round the corner. Tate, that's a decent ball in. Julien puts his head down and heads it behind. It is definitely a corner kick, but Sabatier seemed to almost withdraw from going for that header.
Yeah, I mean, he's clearly somebody that is lacking confidence. I mean, that rebound that came out to him, he should have buried that. That should have been in the back of the net. Fraser Forster should have been given no opportunity to save it.
Corner kick swung in, Forster comes, what a punch that is. Dumped that up, almost up towards the halfway line. In fact, he takes a bounce, goes up to the halfway line. Mouassa plays the ball away. Bourgeois gathers, sends it on the angle. Celtic intercept through Christie, high in the air it goes, takes on the substitute Dakuna, and it's gathered by Celtic and pushed away on that far side. Ball inside towards Johnston. It's a great pass, Johnston out wide into the box onto Morgan. Morgan tries to cut it across, it's blocked. Corner kick to Celtic, one end to the other, flowing movement from Celtic. Good football too, they lead by 2-0.
That's wonderful, it really is, you know, and it's not easy as well. You know, the ball's bounced around originally for Cal McGregor. He gets onto it quickly, releases Ryan Christie. Again, Ryan Christie, not easy, but he plays that ball outside his foot, and it just maintains the pace of the attack, and eventually they've ended up with the corner here. Great play from Celtic.
Celtic with a corner from the right hand side, leading by 2-0, and a penalty claim denied, as they did in France. Ball comes in, Mendy comes for it, punches it, goes through his man as well, and it's Celtic that get penalised, Julien, for the goalkeeper. The two exchange pleasantries, and it is going to be an opportunity for them to clear the lines. I can see that Rennes are thinking about another substitute as well. Manager just indicating a couple of minutes and somebody will come on, as Mendy plays the ball forward. Goalkeeper sent off against Cluj, which allowed Pepe Bonnet to play in goal, youngest ever goalkeeper to play in the Europa League group stage, 5th youngest player to play in the competition altogether. He's not even on the bench tonight, Salin the substitute goalkeeper, as the ball gets played out wide on that far side. Tate heads the ball back, we'll get it back once more. Kenagnon not really shown much of the €15 million price tag tonight that Seville paid for him. Ball just runs hopelessly out of play. Celtic in control here, and they've got 19 minutes to go. It's hard to see Rennes coming back. They scored just 2 goals in 4, one of them for the penalty spot as well. To be fair, they've only lost 5 goals. If you want goals in high thrilling games, it's not really the side you want to watch, although they have been rattling them in and conceding them in good number in Ligue 1 at the moment. Forster plays the ball away, right footed in that right hand side. Christie brings it under control, tries to get away from Silike. Silike plays the ball back towards Kenagnon, back to the goalkeeper it goes, man all in yellow. Mendy plays it away, Bui waits for it, it's going to be closed down. Johnston almost in there, couldn't get there. It's going to be Castillo and not on the same page, passes the ball out of play. Greg Taylor is going to take the throw, substitutes being called round, as Taylor takes the throw, rolls it all the way back onto Ayer. Ayer gather and plays it out wide, and waiting for it is Julien. Julien back onto Ayer. Ayer onto Scott Brown, who strolled through this game, still managed to find himself in the book for a clumsy barge. And Ayer has it once more onto Julien. McGregor has the short options, played onto Christie. Christie flicks it back towards McGregor, but Rennes have picked up in the midfield. Brown comes forward, sweeps the ball all the way through to the goalkeeper. Just got too much on that, and the ball will come from the back. Mouassa pulls it back again. Kenagnon back onto Mendy. Mendy from his goal plays it up onto Bui. Brown comes across, he's read that. Excellent play onto Mikey Johnston. Johnston has it, goes past his man, a little shuffle step, faces up, plays it to Insham. Insham with the back heel, just broken up. It was well played. Niamsi doing just enough They come forward, Red, but again Celtic intercept. Work rate's been good by Bauer in the second half. He's been more adventurous as well. Lays the ball off on the far side. McGregor calling for it. Comes inside onto Chams. At a fair bit of space. Comes forward, plays it on to Johnston. Johnston, 3 players round him. Evades them, goes to the side, works a 1-2, goes inside the box. This for 3-0! Mikey Johnston! Wonderful movement with the Cham. Took it in the box, right footed, cracked it across the goalkeeper, low into the corner. Terrific strike. Celtic 3, Rennes 0.
That's the best goal for me. Absolutely top draw stuff by Mikey Johnston. You know, he just takes it up again from where he left it when he went out the side injured. He was the go-to man at the start of this season, and that right there shows you he is going to be a big player for Celtic. The quick feet, the intelligence to get the link in the 1-2, and then he's got the ability to finish with such precision when he gets into those areas. Top draw, absolutely brilliant. Cham taking her hat off as well. Lovely weighted pass back into Mikey Johnston's pass. Really, really great to see that.
Sensational goal for me. Mikey Johnston, since he's come on, every time he's got it, he's wanted to dribble. Not silly dribbling for the sake of dribbling. Just such good close control, taking his touches, little touches, getting away from the man. It's a brilliant 1-2, as you said. Wait a pass from Cham, but the little stutter just as the ball comes back to him when he's faced the defender up, takes it down the side. And listen, when you do all that, it's great. If you've not got the finish, it counts for nothing. It's a brilliant finish, nice and controlled, well struck, good power into the side netting. What a lift for Celtic to get him back fit and firing, and hopefully a good lift for Scotland as well. I know we've got loads of players and good attacking threat, but the more the merrier.
Absolutely, and look, it's March. There's a fair bit of time to go before those players come around, and Mikey Johnston gets keeps himself fit because he's back now. Then there's no reason why he shouldn't be into that squad.
4th goal of the season for him as the ball is knocked away by Celtic. Forster inside his own technical area. I'm trying to rewind the whole movement in my head. Did that start when Scott Brown stepped forward to intercept the long ball from the goalkeeper?
The phase before, I think, yeah. And then it went out to the right hand side, came back to Mikey Johnston on the edge of the box, and straight away, you could see he had a picture in his mind what he was wanting to do.
Scott Brown gets the ovation, the cuddle from Neil Lennon. Terrific effort from Scott Brown. Pat on the back of the head. Near Beaton is on number 6, 42nd European appearance, closing down on 200 Celtic appearances, which he should hit in December if selected. 197 tonight. Celtic leading by 3-0. A hefty challenge to Nagnon on that occasion. Here's Mikey Johnston, but Celtic are penalised. McGregor and Johnson then goes in. Bourgeois, the two collided. Ayers come in to lend his frame to the situation. Rennes just getting a little bit upset here, and Bourgeois, a decent player, will get yellow carded for his reaction. A little niggle with Johnson. Booking number 5.
No idea what he's complaining about. The game Mikey Johnston does right, keeps going, and Bourgeois grabs him, and then Mikey Johnston starts laughing. He pushes him away, and obviously it's frustration at how they've performed, but I don't know what he's complaining about.
Well, they found something. Now he's going to bang the ball into the box. Julian gets the ball away, breaks wide, and knocked wide by Flavian Tate. 7 matches this season, yet to find the net, and he was lucky he found in between the sticks there.
Nearly went out for a throw-in.
Yeah, I was just trying to think how best to describe that, but that was horrible as the shot. Celtic leading by 3-0. It's still Lazio 1, Cluj 0, and it will be job done for Celtic tonight. And you have to say the goals, Michael Stewart, have been terrific.
Yeah, they have. I mean, they really have. The first one was another really well worked move. Number of players involved in it. Good movement. The second one's a good strike from Ryan Christie. I think we've already touched on the fact that the goalkeeper should have done better, but that one, as I said, the third, it was the best goal for me. Just really, really intelligent playing, great link up. See when you do 1-2s at pace like that and around the edge of the box, it's almost impossible to defend against. And I think Celtic have shown that quality, the speed, and then I think Fadi spoke about it as well. You've got to have the finish at the end of it, and Mikey Johnston had that.
Celtic, I think, took down Ryan Christie, who tried to go past him. The referee takes no further action and trots away. Celtic have a free kick just inside their opponent's half. Ryan Christie walks away limping, perhaps just a tad on the exaggerated side, just to show the referee that he was clattered. And Sham has the ball from the free kick inside onto McGregor. Greg Taylor is out wide on this left hand side. Celtic looking for their 6th win in 18 matches against French opposition, and they're well on their way to doing that, leading by 3-0. McGregor just pulling his man down. Bourdieu is complaining. There is a change going to be made, and it's welcome back to the European stage for Lee Griffiths, who will replace Ryan Christie. Ryan Christie, terrific game. Now 4 goals in his last 8 European appearances. Ryan Christie comes off to a standing ovation around Celtic Park. He's had an exceptionally good night.
He has again. It might not be his most eye-catching performance, but it's just a performance you're used to seeing from him. His work rate, his touch, the pass, the little pass that he played with outside his left foot straight into the path of Mikey Johnston, I think it was incredible. That was a half volley outside of the boot, little curled pass into Mikey Johnston's path. He didn't have to break stride.
On the move as well.
On the move, in between defenders. It was an incredible pass. That could have been, if that move was finished off, that would have been a brilliant goal. But Ryan Christie's just so consistent. He picks up good positions. He does his shift for the team. His touch is great. His awareness is great. He comes up with goals as well, and it's not only that, he creates chances. So this season, Ryan Christie's his performances have been of the highest standard, and everybody, Tom mentioned it, Mikey picked up on it as well. Rennes aren't a bad side. They look, Celtic have made them look like a side that have no idea how to cope with a team, like Celtic. They beat PSG in the cup final last year. They've beat them this year in the league. They're not a bad side. They just haven't come up with any kind of solution to the questions that Celtic are asking, whether it be long balls in behind, pressing, pass and move. They've had no answers whatsoever, and that's a credit to Celtic.
I think they're a side that clearly, missing a few players, and they're devoid of confidence, and Celtic have been playing again, started the first 10 minutes. I was just going to touch on Lee Griffiths coming on there. There is so much goodwill for him in this stadium. You can see, the fans are desperate for him to come back and make an impact. He has to do something for himself now. That he's been given all the opportunities, to get fit. He's had a new contract not that long ago. Lee Griffiths has got to help himself now. There is a lot of support here, not just the Celtic but Scottish football, and I hope he does that, because he's a very important player.
Celtic come forward, make the challenge inside the box as Rennes were threatening, and it's gathered by Encham. Griffiths, little milestone for him tonight. It's his 50th European appearance for Celtic. It's gathered by Encham. So Tate's been replaced by Gibault. The change made by the French. Now moving forward, Mikey Johnston almost linked nicely with a 1-2, but it's knocked away by Mendy. It's played back to him, taken down by Julien just inside his half, plays it up to the halfway line, gathers, gets it back just outside the centre circle, and Cham gathers once more, clips it out wide for Taylor. It looks like it's too long, it's the club length too much. Out of play it goes. Celtic leading by 3-0, and the referee is going to boot Greg Taylor. Did he boot the ball away?
I didn't see it.
That's all I can see.
It must have been.
Yeah, I moved to look in field to see just where Gibault had come on to play, and the yellow card comes out, but I think the ball had been booted away. Well, it's a silly one. The throw-in will come from this near side. Celtic 3-0, Lazio 1-0. Correa the goal scorer after 24 minutes. That's the difference in Rome tonight. Celtic gather. Well won by Griffiths onto Johnston, and Cham plays it round onto Johnston. Griffiths has made the run at the back post. He then comes short. Johnston tried to find him, but it's blocked and sent behind. You could see Mikey Johnston desperate to pick out Lee Griffiths there. Didn't want to take it himself. Looked for his fellow striker, but he just couldn't find him.
He just couldn't get the ball out of his feet. It was a great bit of play. Lee Griffiths coming back, winning the ball back, He's off into the box trying to get the ball, get on the end of it. Mikey Johnston's looking and looking and looking. He just can't get the ball, under enough control. You'd have to say it's probably decent defending from Rennes' point of view, but he just couldn't get the ball to Griffiths.
Corner swung in, knocked high in there. Celtic try and get the header back, but it comes through to the goalkeeper, Mendy. Mendy will gather. 1 or 2 starting to head for the exits on this European night. Celtic leading by 3-0. Morgan, Christie and Johnston. It's not a bad trio to get on the score sheet. Forward it comes. Little bounce onto Julien. Julien does enough. Moves it away from the efforts of the substitute Kuno, who is on. He's got 4 goals this term, second top goal scorer for Rennes, but it's kind of hard putting him on. There's such little time left and hoping he's going to make an impact. McGregor plays the ball out wide. Opportunity for Celtic just to play the ball back to the goalkeeper from Bauer. Bauer plays it through onto Forces. A couple of really good stops tonight, and Ayer will gather inside his own box. Gets the ball, starts to move it forward. Taylor is available on the outside, pushes it through onto Ncham. Bouye closes him down quickly, and Ncham does well, tries to cheeky little back heel, hits it off at Gibault, and the ball goes out of play. Ayer with the thumbs up, and as the ball is out of play, the ball girl will come and throw the ball onto Greg Taylor, and Taylor throws it in onto Ayer. Good little pass across onto Julien to get things moving again for Celtic. Up to McGregor it goes, inside his own half. Steps past Siliki, centre circle. Beaton, not really been involved so far. Plays the ball onto Taylor, plays it back to Beaton, drags the ball back, tries to cut it inside onto Ncham. Ncham could spot the pass out wide, he's done so, and it's gathered. Opportunity for Morgan, he's striking the shot on! Goalkeeper pushes it away, lowered his post again. Not sure he keeps an eye on exactly where the ball goes. He's expecting a shot.
I think there was a deflection there. It might have come off the back of Griffiths, that maybe unsights the goalkeeper, but you have to say he parries it away and away from danger. But good play again. Lewis Morgan cutting inside, managed to get his shot away. Lee Griffiths trying to go and end it again, doesn't happen for him. Goalkeeper makes a save, he's sprinting out to close it down, and as Michael says, there is a time now for Lee Griffiths to help himself, and the best way to do it, everybody knows he can score goals, but he was scoring goals even when he wasn't at his best and when he wasn't fit. It's by working hard and doing the things that are necessary for the team. Go and chase it down, be a good teammate, help your teammates out, and that's the easiest way for him to get back to any kind of level, or the level that we hope and expect him to get back to. And it's good to see early signs are good, and hopefully that continues.
Celtic bring the ball away. 4 minutes to play, leading by 3-0. It's been comfortable for Celtic since that third goal. I mean, they've lost just 3 single goals in the 4 group games to date, and the goal has been troubled a couple of times. Forster certainly with a couple of good saves. But Celtic now is looking to see this one out. No change in the scoreline in Rome, so as it stands, Celtic are winning the group with a game to spare. The ball is back with Ayer. Ayer touches it across onto Julien. Julien looks ahead, plays it forward onto Ncham. Celtic will go to Ross County at the weekend, and it's gathered and played forward onto Beaton. Beaton tries to go through Siliki, too strong for him, plays it through onto Griffiths. Griffiths up at the edge of the box, steps inside his man, hits it straight at the goalkeeper, breaks back to Johnston. The touch though came away from Muassa, did well enough to take it away from Mikey Johnston. Credit Lee Griffiths, found the room that he wanted, but he slaps his hands together in annoyance. Just the shot too direct.
Look, he'll be disappointed he's not scored, but that was really good play from Lee Griffiths. It was quick feet, he worked the angle, he got the defenders almost on their backside, and he got a really good strike. He caught it really well. I mean, Lee Griffiths, he's got such a wonderful, he is such a wonderful striker of the ball. Yes, perhaps, if it's half a yard either side, that's probably in the back of the net, but that was a really good moment to play there from Lee Griffiths.
He didn't force it, he had the chance to shoot, and he could easily have done it. He's not played for a long time, he could have snatched at it, but he just buys himself that little half yard, little feint, puts it on his left foot. The goalkeeper unconvincing again, but listen, he's done everything right. He's got a good strike on it. After you see the goalkeeper diving, could he maybe hit it near post, but as a striker you want to get it onto your left foot across the goalkeeper and ask a question. That's textbook striking play from Lee Griffiths. But brilliant play and composure to get his shot away.
Rennes trying to come forward again. Bourgeois into the middle. The head flick is wide. It's clipped back in towards Hunou. Hunou can't get on the end of it. Celtic clear. It's out wide. Never given up, Rennes. Got to give them credit for that. And they've been cheered on by a big band of support across to our right hand side as Kingsley Silicate will gather. Came through the youth system at Rennes. Ball inside. Great header. Adrien Hunou. The cross to the left hand side. Textbook header from the left hand side across the goalkeeper. Low into the corner. Fraser Forster kicks the post in disgust. His clean sheet is gone. Celtic 3, Rennes 1.
I'm just going to say that was the one thing that Celtic didn't want to do in the last stages of the game here, was to lose the clean sheet. I'm just wondering whether he was onside or not. Was he behind the ball, or I don't know. Ultimately, it was very difficult to say on that viewing, but Celtic will be very disappointed that they've lost that clean sheet.
Nothing Forster can do about it. It's a good ball, and whether he's on or off, and alright, they still win the game and it's very comfortable, but you would like to keep a clean sheet in Europe. And for Fraser Forster, I feel sorry for him, because he's had a good game when called upon, and it's a goal out of nothing really.
Yeah, he'll be disappointed, but in goalkeeping terms he couldn't do anything. The cross was a terrific one, and Adrien Hunou just came across. He's got 4 goals in 10 league appearances this season. That's his first goal in Europe, and it was a terrific header. Sours things slightly for Celtic, but only slightly. If you'd said that Celtic were going to win the group with a game to spare, they'd be more than delighted. And that is what they're going to do at the moment. Rennes, as I mentioned, haven't given up. They come forward again. 4 additional minutes to play. Barr picks up, tries to come forward down that right hand side, steps inside Jan Jubo on that far side. He gets the ball back again, sends it down the line, and Sham waits for it. Griffiths says put it in front of me. Sham's going to move inside. Taylor's making a great run. Is he going to pick him out? No, he's going to stop in the middle, shimmy again, try to go round his man, flicks it into Taylor. Taylor in the middle, low ball across. Griffiths was offside, wouldn't have counted, but the cross was cut very, very deep and way in behind where Lee Griffiths was. It remains Celtic 3, Rennes 1.
Yeah, and Cham had the chance when he picked up on the right hand side. Lee Griffiths had made a good run. He could have reversed it to him, and when he takes the touch inside, the only pass he's really got on after that is Greg Taylor. He's got a lot of ground to make up. He cuts back inside, and by the time he plays the pass, Taylor's offside. But it's just a tough one, if you're going to break, it's difficult. 3-1 up, there's no point in going chasing it. Obviously Lee Griffiths is desperate to go on the score sheet, but although it's not been a tough game for Celtic, it's been a high energy game, and it was very difficult for anybody else to get up the play there.
Well, Celtic started the European campaign with 4 straight wins. They're looking for their 4th straight win here tonight, as they've controlled the group. The 2-1s against Lazio, they're doing well, and of course beat Cluj as well here by 2-0 as Bourgeois gets a little bit frustrated, fouls Callum McGregor. McGregor looks at the referee. Bourgeois gets a little helping hand up, and Callum McGregor just arguing with the referee, say there perhaps should have been a little bit more coming there. He does have the captain's armband, a little bit of leeway going his way, and Celtic will have the free kick. 2 minutes of the stoppage time have already gone, and Celtic are doing the job they came here to do tonight. Aya gets ready to play the ball forward, does so down towards Griffiths. Griffiths with the header, but he heads it out of play, and Rennes will gather. And we'll see that goal as a little moral victory towards the end of this game. But Morgan, Christie and Johnston, the Celtic goal scorers, just kept in by Buick down the line. Ayer can't flick it inside. Hunou will drag it across onto the far side. Muasa waits, ball back inside. Bourgeois plays it out wide. Acuna looks for it, comes back inside. Long ball on the angle, that's going to take a bounce and drift in behind, and Celtic will have a goal kick that sends another 2 or 3 heading towards the exits, and Fraser Forster just goes in between the sticks, gingerly bends down, grabs the ball, says the referee I'll take it from this side. Callum McGregor just checking with the referee, how long to go. The referee indicating that it is almost all over. There'll be a minute still to go. The two continue their conversation as Forster plays the ball forward. Easy header away, Gagnon, and it's gathered. And Celtic give away a free kick just on the edge of the centre circle inside their opponent's half. Needless little push, so the last action of the game looks like it's going to be a little bit of defending by Celtic.
I didn't see what happened there, Paul, to be honest with you. I think Julian and it was Beaton had come short, and I just seen the player on the ground. I never actually saw what happened.
Yeah, the ball just seemed to go further forward, but there seemed to be a block. Certainly the referee gave it, relatively easy game for the referee. Now the ball on the angle into the box. Greg Taylor wins the header ahead of Gagnon. Gagnon goes, brings it down, just has it outside the box. Mikey Johnston kicked the player first. The ball is refusing to go out. Now it does go out, and with a flourish, the assistant referee on the near side puts his flag above his head, keeps us guessing as to what he's going to give, and he correctly gives the goal kick.
He was just buying himself enough time to see what the referee was going to do. He put the flag so high above his head, it was like, what are you going to do? Like, what? I don't know, slowly bring it. Oh, by kick. All right, there we go. Yeah, it's by kick.
Referee decides enough is enough. It's a successful night for Celtic in the Europa League. Match day 5 ends in success. They didn't get past Rennes and Rennes when they deserved to. They got past Rennes tonight, and they absolutely deserved to. Goals by Morgan, Christie and Johnston see Celtic through. They hit 13 points in the group. What a night it's been for Celtic at Celtic Park. And finished Celtic 3, Rennes 1.
Celtic in the Europa League. Live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland. There's no substitute.
Still 1-0 for Lazio. They are into the 4th minute of stoppage time, but it's not going to make any difference now because Lazio remain 1-0 up thanks to that goal from Correa midway through the first half. It looks as if Lazio are going to win it. Celtic, of course, have one more game to play. That will be in Transylvania against Chifre Cluj in the final week, couple of weeks' time, the final round of matches. It's been a brilliant campaign for Celtic. They ensured that they would get through to the knockout stages with 2 games to go. They have won the group with 1 game in hand, if you like. And if you look across all the groups, right across the Europa League, only Sevilla, who are heading to 5 wins out of 5, have got more points than Celtic. No one else has got 13 points as Celtic have. It's been an astonishing campaign. Just would not have credited that might be the case when it all started off. But only Sevilla, who of course are giants in recent years in terms of that European competition, they've got 15 points. Celtic have got 13. No one has more. And worth pointing out, because it might kind of get lost in the whole thing, 6 Scots in the starting lineup for Celtic, 5 of them pretty young. There were 8 Scots out of the 14 all told. So, I mean, this is very much a Scottish success story, and Celtic not only through to the knockout stages, but through as group winners, and guaranteed therefore to be seeded for the knockout stages. Much to look forward to for them, and hopefully for Rangers as well. Remember, a 2-2 draw earlier. They're in pole position in Group G, 8 points to to Porto and Young Boys 7. Feyenoord have 5. Rangers finish off, of course, with the home game against Young Boys. That is full time in Rome. Lazio 1, Cluj 0. The victory for the Italians, which moves them on to 6 points and gives them hope, I guess, ahead of the final fixtures in that group. Celtic would have to beat Cluj, and Lazio would have to win against Rennes if they are to have the opportunity to progress. 3-1 Celtic, 1-0 Lazio. Celtic top the group, have knockout football to look forward to. And the talk beforehand, James, was about the fact that Neil Lennon said, look, I want to go and I want to go and I want to win the group. I mean, that has now been achieved. Maybe now he'll change the team a little bit for the last game, but you'd imagine Celtic actually will want to see this campaign through in the same style as we've seen from them throughout.
Yeah, I doubt he'll make any changes. You know, the players are fit, they're strong. He's shown this season already that he doesn't want to make too many changes, because sometimes you make changes and it's maybe 5 or 6 changes and it looks good and you think, yep, that'll work, but the players are coming in, they're concentrating on what they're trying to do. The team loses the kind of rhythm that's been there, and I just don't see them making wholesale changes, because the players are playing their own form at the minute. As a player, you never ever want to rest. You never want to rest. You want to keep, because this team, you look at Mikey Johnston coming in tonight.
Yeah.
Look at Lewis Morgan. Lewis Morgan comes in and plays well as a striker. Now, as Michael said earlier, he's not going to play as a striker, because Edouard, when he's fit, will play no matter what. So then Mikey Johnston comes on in a position that Lewis Morgan can play in and has a real big impact. You know, it's a difficult one, because
he's probably ahead of Morgan in the pecking order.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So
even though Morgan's
thinking, I've started the game, I'm playing as a striker, everybody wants me to play as a striker, I've scored a goal, I've done well. Mikey Johnston comes on and just looks electric. So he then comes back to say, right, well, I'm probably ahead of Lewis Morgan, who's done nothing wrong. And that just shows you the strength, and that shows you why players don't want to drop out the side. You know that, alright, Edouard drops out for a rest, you know he's going to come back in. Scott Brown, Callum McGregor, Ryan Christie. But then you're looking at Bauer coming in at right back. You know, he'll want to try and stay in the team. He doesn't want to drop out. He needs to try and force his way into the team. Greg Taylor on the other side, he wants to stay in the team because he wants to make that position his own. Apart from that, there's not too many changes that you would see them making anyway.
The thing is, you know, talking about the final game in the Europa League, that there's a core of players who have played a lot of games. There are other players, you know, you look at that team there tonight, you know, obviously Chams came in, Morgan's come in, and Bauer at right back. You know, any more than 3 or 4 changes really does, as Faddy's talking about there, start to upset the rhythm of the side. You know, if you make 5 and 6 changes, you lose that continuity. So making 3 and 4 changes, I think, is wise, because you can start to give certain guys a rest who I think need it, but also giving game time to other players who will be big players as this season goes on. I think, you know, when you look at some of the guys that are coming back in, there, Mikey Johnston, Lee Griffiths are 2 that are standouts. Tom Rogic is one that needs games as well. You know, these are guys that potentially you look at going into the final game in the campaign against Cluj away from home. You think to yourself, right, we've got an opportunity here to give some guys that we need a game, get them into the team and play, and then we've got a couple others we want to rest. 3-4 changes makes sense to me. Any more than that, wholesale changes, it's you know, there's an argument for it, because the games are effectively a dead rubber. But as Faddy's talking about there, you want to continue to have that feel good factor of we're winning games, the rhythm of the team's still the same. And I think 3 or 4 changes allows you to do that. Any more, it does start to potentially put that in jeopardy.
Well, the bottom line is there are quality players to come in, as we've seen from Celtic tonight. Group F, incidentally, full-time Arsenal 1, Eintracht Frankfurt 2. Aubameyang had put Arsenal in front, but a double from Kamara in the second half won it for the Germans. Arsenal will still qualify from the group, almost certainly. They finish off away to Standard Liège. They beat them 4-0 in the home game at the Emirates. They're 3 points clear of Standard Liège. Eintracht Frankfurt in second place, a point behind Arsenal, finish off their campaign at home to Vitoria, who are at the bottom of the table. So you'd imagine Eintracht Frankfurt will join Arsenal through, but they've now gone 7 games without a win. And that's the first time that's happened since February 1992, which is why there is increasing pressure, it seems, on Unai Emery. Group K, Wolves did let a 3-1 lead slip, but drew 3-3 away to Braga. Both sides go through in that group. And Manchester United, with like Arsenal, took the lead but lost 2-1 to Astana, but they have qualified from the group, currently top, and they will go through. We know that Rangers are leading in Group G as they go into the final round of fixtures. Avoid defeat against Young Boys, and that will guarantee their qualification. Win it, and that will guarantee that they, like Celtic, win the group. And Celtic did indeed clinch Group E this evening. As I mentioned, Tom English, it's quite notable that, isn't it, as you look across all those sections across the Europa League. Was it 12 group A, B, C, D, EFGHIJKL. Yeah, 12 groups. Got there eventually.
Good,
yeah, I know. I just got in my mind. I'm trying to work it. No, I'm
like
gonna have to
I'm
count.
on Sesame Street
I'm
here.
gonna have to count. L is for league champions for Celtic. Yeah, 12 groups. Only Sevilla have got more points than Celtic.
Yeah, well, it shows you the strides the Celtic have made. I mean, it seems like forever ago that they were knocked out of the Champions League, doesn't it?
Yeah, that was this season.
It was this season, but it doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like it in terms of months that have gone by, and it doesn't feel like it when you're looking at this Celtic team compared to that Celtic team. This Celtic team is playing with, obviously later on in the season they've had a chance to hit their stride, but they're playing with such confidence. I mean, the back-to-back against Lazio was just extraordinary. To be able to go to places like that and win and deserve to win, outstanding. To swat Rennes aside tonight, excellent. 3 young Scottish guys scored the goals. As you say, was a 6 in the start.
6 in the starting lineup, 8 in the 14.
8 in the 14. The 3 goal scorers are Scottish. None of them a day over 24. Mikey Johnston comes on. He hasn't played since September the 1st. Looks brilliant. What a talented boy this kid is. Just hits his stride straight away. Been out of the game for a long time. Doesn't look like it.
That third goal was absolutely outstanding.
Goal. It was a gorgeous goal. Precision, timing, accuracy, speed of thought, speed of movement. Rennes didn't know what was going on. The ball was in the net before they realised.
And the thing is, Tom, that doesn't matter who you're playing against. I said it in commentary. See, when you play at that pace and you're playing 1-2s in and around the box, you can be the best defence in the world. It's almost impossible to defend against. So if you've got the ability to do that in an attacking sense, you can cut open any side. Yeah. You really can.
It's been a terrific night. It's a terrific campaign for Celtic, for Rangers. These are kind of heady days, and back in the early summer or late summer, you would have thought we were sitting here tonight thinking, wow, we've seen some substantial performances.
Normally you look at Celtic and Rangers in the past, blowing teams away domestically, playing a certain style of football. They go into European football and something changes, and nothing has changed for these two sides. We're speaking about Celtic because we're here. Those little passages of play, the 1-2s, that's what happens regular. They will do that every day in training, and it's not working on patterns of play. Of course you need patterns of play, but that is players thinking on their feet, off the cuff, being used to that one-touch passing move. It's very, very difficult, no matter how good a team you are defensively, to deal with it.
I was just thinking back to the start of the season, because you're talking about the style of football. Actually, it was a good start of the season.
Very good.
They got the back-to-back wins against Sarajevo, against Noncalyu, then they hit Cluj, but actually going forward, they were still playing that kind of football. It was defensively was the big nightmare at the time. I remember having the conversation with Pat Bonner, saying, almost that it was a nightmare that Celtic had dropped down into the Europa League. The suggestion I made at the time was, is that not the level that Celtic are at? It's a level they can be competitive at. My God, the fans,
blessing in disguise.
Well, absolutely, because fans love this, don't they?
They do. And Neil Lennon, I think, said that the season before they beat Barcelona in the Champions League, he felt that there was they were in the Europa League that year, and he felt as if that was a real important year where they built up towards that. Yeah. And this year, in terms of level where they're competitive, it's not just competitive, they're smashing teams.
Yeah.
So in terms of building confidence and belief, that I think this is going to do them so much good moving forward, to potentially, if they were to get into the Champions League next year, to actually be in a position where they believe they can get results. Because with the greatest respect to the last couple of times they've been in the Champions League, it's been a struggle. They're up against world-class opposition.
Yeah.
Now if they were to get a semi-favourable draw, you start thinking about some of the games that they would go into, that they would feel, in particular here at Celtic Park, that they could really do something. And it'll be the same going into the knockout stages of this competition. And that's why getting seeded in the next round is important, because you genuinely will think that is going to be a tie that they can get through. And then you start getting into real exciting periods of the season and areas of the competition.
But when you look at the opposition they're playing, they're good sides. So the teams that are going to drop out for the Champions League, it's not the top sides. No. It's the teams at this kind of level.
Some good sides, though. Some good sides will drop out.
No, they are good sides, but it's this tier, this level. Yeah. So the confidence going into built from the performances. Of course, the results in football, winning's all that matters, but how they've done it has been even more impressive.
It also has that feel. If you think back to that Martin O'Neill team in particular, Gordon Strachan's team, and Neil Lennon, of course, the teams that were competitive in the Champions League and were going through it, it was based on an excellent home record. Now they've just gone on 3 wins out of 3, which is the kind of thing they used to do in the Champions League, but they couldn't win away. They're allying that home form now with the ability to go to France and draw with Rennes, to go to Rome and win against Lazio.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And you know, these are big games that they're playing against big sides. In Champions League, the sides dropping down from the Champions League, there'll be a couple of sides that are a bit iffy. Some of them will be very, very good. But if you're a team that can go to Lazio and win, or you can do what Rangers are doing on the road, then there's not a lot to scare you in the Europa League. There really isn't. I mean, and as hard a concept as that is to get your head around, the Celtic and Rangers are doing things now that we haven't seen from them in quite a while. You know, in Scotland, we can expect Celtic to be brushing aside the opposition, and when they do it, and when they have done it for the last 3 seasons, you say, well done, Celtic. You know, total domestic dominance, brilliant. But they have let themselves down in Europe. Now they're showing that they're not just, like, for the want of a better phrase, flat track bullies up against teams they've got a multiple of their budgets. They're now going toe to toe with some big European opposition, and they're winning there as well. And that validates everything that they're doing domestically, and you can say the same for Rangers, who've made the most enormous strides under Steven Gerrard.
Yeah, I think that's the mentality. You know, it used to be brush aside the teams domestically, and then you go in against the big hitters in Europe and play a different style, which they're not accustomed to. So it's very difficult. Now you don't see any difference between a domestic performance to a European performance. And I get it's not in the Champions League, Richard, we spoke about this the last time, and Pat was, you know, arguing against the fact that it was good for Celtic, but it shows you it helps the mentality. It's all about progression, it's all about learning, and this experience of the group camp. You speak about the game in Rennes. Celtic absolutely battered Rennes in Rennes, so it's so close to being a perfect group for Celtic, perfect performance in every single game.
Right, look, I mean, obviously things have to be resolved in a couple of weeks' time, but teams currently in 3rd place in their groups, and so Sorry, we're now looking, of course, third place teams in the Champions League, and Celtic won't need to worry about them, of course, because they'll be...
Yeah, that's why, you know, it's important to see that, you know, they finish top of the table. But, you know, look, when you talk about, and Faddy's talking about their, you know, progression and learning, that it's so important that, you know, for a lot of these guys, that they don't go, you know, year in, year out getting smashed in the Champions League, because it can leave mental scars. You know, and they're now building this mentality. I think when you watch this side, they're building a mentality that domestically, as Faddy said, they can sweep teams, and then it's into Europe. It's the exact same. We do the same thing. We're capable of beating these sides, and you know that in terms of building the players is a very, very important factor. And you know, we like to keep a keen eye. You've already spoken about it, the 6 starters that were Scottish, 8 in the 14 that came and played a part of the game. That is then hugely important for the national team as well, because you know, Gordon Strachan's side, when he was, you know, looking as if we were going to get close to qualifying, it was the core of the Celtic team. You know, he basically replicated what Brendan Rodgers had done. Now it's almost getting to the stage where Steve Clarke could do something very similar, you know, because there is a core of that team that are young Scottish talents that you can see the patterns of play and the partnerships that are within it, that you just start to go, right, well, I'll drop in X, Y or Z non-Celtic player into that team, and then you make it better. So it's very important that what they're doing here in Europe for the national side as well.
Brilliant night for Celtic. They have clinched the group. They will win the group. They know they'll be seeded for the knockout stages. And of course, a great night for Rangers. They were ahead, 2 wonderful headers from Alfredo Morelos. They did concede the equaliser to Feyenoord, who certainly had plenty of chances in the first half. Rangers definitely better in the second. Rangers go into the final round of matches, top of the table. They are top of Group G with a home game against Young Boys to come. It'll be Young Boys and Porto. Feyenoord are out of it. Well, certainly they can't finish above Rangers. And of course, it's Young Boys who come to Ibrox for the final round of matches. Porto will be at home to Feyenoord. As for tonight, Steven Gerrard said afterwards to the media, a fair result. Probably lucky not to be further behind at half-time. We won the second half, that we deserved it. I would like an explanation as to why we didn't get a penalty. Certainly our commentary team picked up on that. He said it was a blatant penalty. He was climbing all over Morelos. He said, I'm not interested in progress, I'm interested in qualification to the last 32. I thought our front three, we didn't see much of them in the first half, but the second half we caused them plenty of problems. That was certainly the case. We showed fantastic character in the second half, said Steven Gerrard. Everyone turned up. I was very disappointed with the second Feyenoord goal. If you give Morelos that type of service that he got in the second half, then you get goals. And there were two magnificent headers by the Colombian. He went on to say, Morelos is not for sale at any price. Tom English chuckles.
I think he said, do you believe me now? He's not for sale at any price.
Right.
I don't believe you, Stephen, because if somebody comes in with 50 million, I think business may well be done.
Yeah.
Or 100 million, at any price. What about $500 million? I mean, that's any price.
Okay, half a billion. You probably would find that hard to turn down.
Listen, he's worth his weight in goals and gold for Rangers, and it'll be a dark day for that club when he does leave. But he will leave at some point. Because he's a young player. He'll leave for a lot of money, and every Rangers fan will be crossing their fingers saying it's not just yet.
Yeah, I've got no idea if and none of us do, if Alfredo Morelos actually wants to go in January or not. It may be that he wants to see the season through anyway, and there may be no pressure from him particularly. But
if he goes for $500 million, then that blows Dave King's value in the squad at the water, doesn't it?
$500 million might just do it. You can understand what, Steven Gerrard, not a chance does he want to see him go. And that's kind of what he means, isn't it? That he is worth so much to him, to the team. And given what they could potentially achieve this season, you can see why, almost irrespective of what they're offered, say, look, fine, come back in the summer. We're not doing business.
They can, I know, listen, I suspect that they will in January. They will have a number of offers and fairly saucy offers.
I don't know, because usually when a player moves, there's a willingness from either the club to sell or the player to move.
Yeah.
So it's all right saying clubs will come in and make a bid, but the initial contact will be made from a prospective buyer. How much you want? He's not for sale. Don't bother even wasting time. He's not for sale, and that makes it very difficult, because they can start. At what point does a club say? Because everybody wants to know his value. But how far do they go? To a club that's not, a player's not for sale, there is always a price.
Yeah.
So where does that club start?
There is a price.
There's got to be encouragement.
There is a price, but I believe them when they say he's not for sale in January.
They can't sell him in January.
Not after Dave King has said it in the AGM. Not after Steven Gerrard has said it repeatedly. They can't sell him in January.
To sell him.
No.
They can't. Not when they're going hammer and tongs with Celtic. They can't sell them in January. Maybe next summer, possibly, if another big offer comes in.
That was it, yeah.
Maybe, but not in January.
I think the summer is obviously a different ballgame, but I agree with the guys that in January, we're talking about affording. Yeah, there's the financial, implications, but then there's the sporting implications. Yeah. They can't afford to sell them on a sporting basis, but in terms of financially, they need to recoup some money from somewhere. But I think they'll try and squeeze it out until the summer and then reassess then.
Right, brilliant night for Rangers, brilliant night for Celtic, 3-1 against Rennes. I gather that Neil Lennon has joined the media down in the news conference room at Celtic Park with Cerdine. Well, I was hoping to hear, and apparently the line has just dropped. There we are. Is that the news conference? Cerdine, are you with us? No, apparently not. I'm not quite sure what has happened there. We can hear something in the background. It is just Celtic Park. It's just no idea what's going on, but we'll get that recorded. I think it is up and running. We'll get that recorded. Not quite sure why. We haven't got the live link there from downstairs, so we'll get back to that. Right, we're talking about Alfredo Morelos and the
Tom
value.
Could put on a Lurgan dialect for you if you wish.
I could, but it'll cost you.
No, well, we can't afford that at any price. Rangers, look, now one game to go, and the bottom line is if they avoid defeat against Young Boys, they will be guaranteed to go through. They, like Celtic, Tom, they'll be desperate to win that group as well.
Yeah.
And Stephen Gerrard actually afterwards was pointing out it's very different from Vienna last year. He said that was away, and of course they missed out right at the death in terms of qualifying then. Stronger position this time. Home game, where they've been, like Celtic, they've been so good at home. Young boys are going to be reeling, you would have to imagine, after losing those 2 goals to Porto. And they went from group favourites to potentially outsiders now, in actual fact. And Porto have got the mark over them in terms of the head-to-heads. Rangers, of course, have got the head-to-head over Porto. Feyenoord can't finish above Rangers. I mean, it is down to just seeing this one last time.
Yeah, and listen, they've picked up valuable experience last year. They've been steeled by what happened to them last year. I'd be surprised if they didn't see it through. They're playing with such confidence. They've got goals in their team. They've got an incredible resilience, a belligerence almost in their team. They're a very impressive lot. They're a vastly improved side. I think they're an all-round good side. I think their bench is making an impact in these games as well, just like Celtic's is. You look at the Old Firm game coming up, the cup final.
Yeah.
And with every Old Firm game that happens, I'm kind of approaching them with a bit of trepidation because of all the poison and the toxicity that surrounds them. This one is very different because I think these are 2 good teams now. And it's been a long time since we've had Celtic and Rangers both strong together.
Yeah.
This could be a really, really classic.
Yeah,
Celtic
but sadly, irrespective of how good the teams are, there could still well be the toxicity that you.
Oh no, there will be, but
the build-up will be about the game and the actual spectacle.
I think so, Faddy. Yeah, and we have a right to expect a really good game of football with a lot of quality in it, because there is a lot of quality on both sides now, and there's not a huge amount to separate them.
And they're both attacking sides.
Take one look at the league. Yeah. As Michael sneeringly pointed out to Jonathan on Sports Scene at the weekend. Yeah. Have a look at the league table.
He was very cranky, wasn't he?
Wasn't he just?
Oh, dismissive, contemptuous of the host.
Self-explanatory.
Yeah, but you still have to explain it from time to time. That's why you get employed. And maybe you have to look beyond the points and the goal difference and explain these things, Michael, because you know about these things.
Who's going to win then?
I have a high belief and confidence in the nation that they can understand that things are pretty tight at the top of the table.
Who's going to win the cup final?
I think it's very, very close. Perhaps too close to call. I mean, in all seriousness, if you saw any result, whether it was a Rangers win, a Celtic win, or it went into extra time, you wouldn't be surprised. If I was to, put my neck on the line, I would say that I think if Edouard is fit and he's playing, then I would put Celtic just as the slimmest of favourites.
I think the only result that would be a surprise would be a thumping win either way, wouldn't it?
Or a 0-0.
Yeah, that's true.
Or a 0-0, yeah. I mean, Celtic were it was 2-0 earlier on in the season.
But it was 2-0 and they completely dominated the game.
Totally dominated. I would be surprised if it was another one of those. Because I think this Rangers team have grown up an awful lot since then. And I think they're all better. I think the defence is better, the midfield is better. Midfield wasn't contributing a huge amount of goal threat back then. It is now. Morelos is better. Morelos scored loads of goals last season, but he was missing for so many important games that he was damaging them because of his discipline. Yes. That's all been cleaned up now.
I tell you who's very important for me with Rangers, and you saw it last week, was that if Ryan Kent can continue to add goals to his game, that's the one thing. I mean, looking at him last year, you could see the guy was a really talented player. You could see he would have the ability to go and perhaps take that next step. And he's starting to do that. And if he continues to do that, he will be a huge player for Rangers, because he's that X factor. He's the guy that can perhaps, create and score out of nothing. And I don't think Rangers have got another one. Ojo's come. He's not done a great deal, to be perfectly honest. So Ryan Kent is the guy that's a bit different for Rangers, and if he maintains those levels, then he will be a huge player for them.
I mean, he got those goals, as you say, Michael. He also, I don't know if you saw it earlier, but it was a magnificent cross he put in for Morelos' first goal. Yeah,
incredible cross. And as Michael says, he's starting to listen. Remember, he wasn't fit. Then he came in, he played, he got injured, he's been out. He looks strong. He looks as if he wants to, be direct, and instead of, sometimes you get wingers that come in, they run up and down the line and they don't really cause too many problems. He wants to come inside and join in, whether it's get a shot away. His cross tonight was sensational, and I think that yes, Kent's going to be a huge player, but just having Morelos in the side, everybody talks about his goals, but he's not just a goal scorer. His overall play is very good. He's a nuisance, he never stops. He makes good runs. He occupies defences. He's so strong. He brings others into play. I mean, he doesn't, for me, have the finesse of an Edouard, but he's still so important to what Rangers are trying to do. He's not just get the ball wide, get it in the box, and I'll score the goals. He gets them up the pitch. He wins them fouls. He's a nuisance, and he'll be a huge player. Obviously, he didn't play in that Old Firm game, and I think Steven Gerrard's admitted that it was a mistake. He should have played him, but maybe that was, maybe Steven Gerrard's thinking about his temperament, because it wasn't really tested up until that point. That would have been the big test of his temperament, and maybe he felt as though it'd be better for him to stay out of that game in case it got the better of him.
We talked about beforehand about the Rangers team. Is a really settled side right now, and potentially 10 of the positions you'd automatically kind of chalk up right now. Is it becoming less easy to do so with a Celtic team, given that we've seen Morgan coming in and making an impression, Johnston coming back on, and Mikey Johnston surely has now got a part to play, or will Neil Lennon simply revert to essentially his 11?
I think the Celtic side is very easy to pick the vast majority of it, and it has been for most of the season. Foster's the guy in goals. I would say that even when it comes down to Frimpong or El Hamid, I think Frimpong's probably the one that's going to get the nod. Julian and Ayer have made that partnership at centre back. If Bolingoli was fit, he'd be in. If not, Taylor's there. Brown and McGregor are the centre midfield partnership, and then Forrest, Christie, and other. Perhaps Johnston could get himself back in there, and Edouard up top. I think that's perhaps you're talking about one or two possible changes.
The core team that won't change. You've got right through the middle of the park. You've got Foster, Ayer, Julian, Brown, McGregor, Ryan Christie, and Edouard, and then the other guys that come in, they're all Forrest wide right as well. The other guys to come in are all of a similar quality. You could pick El Younousi. He's been excellent. Obviously he's injured. Mikey Johnston showing everybody just how good he is. And then at left back, Greg Taylor for me has been excellent. He's done everything that's been asked. Defensively, very good. Attacking wise, very good. He's slotted in there, like he's played there all his career. And then Frimpong or El Hamed on the other side. I think it's out of those two. I don't think Bauer's a serious contender for the final. But I think that's really strong, settled, and that's why when you talk about making changes, that's why those changes aren't made between Ayer, Julian, Brown, McGregor, Christie. Yes, Tom Rogic can come into that, and Chams come in at times. It's not as if you're substituting the quality. The quality's there no matter who plays.
Yeah, all of this suggests and adds weight to as the boys have been saying, too tight to call perhaps the League Cup final, the fact that only goal difference separates him at the top of the table. But what it also does is it kind of perhaps helps to explain why, Tom, both have been going so well in Europe. I mean, these are two teams that are in really good places right now.
Yeah, and I think they're driving each other on. I think they've both hit at a higher level not because of the other team, but certainly that helps. Knowing that Celtic know that they can't slip up, Rangers know that they can't slip up. That creates a kind of mental strength, and they've both done it. Rangers have had to scrap their way through some of the games, more so than Celtic, but they've scrapped their way through and they've won. They've won the games, and there's no gap at the top. I mean, how many years have we speculated? Oh, is the gap closing? Is the gap? Well, the gap is closed now, and I think this can go to the wire. I didn't think that at the start of the season. I thought Celtic would win by about 9 points. I think was my prediction. Don't think that now. I think it could well go to the wire. And I think they're not, as I said earlier, they're just not just two good Scottish Premiership sides. I think they're two good sides now. I wouldn't qualify it. I think we're seeing it. We're seeing the evidence of our own eyes in Europe. They have taken big steps forward, and I think it's in part because they know there is a big race now in Scotland, and I think that both of them have kicked on because of it. You look at Celtic. The last couple of months, the stuff that they've been playing has been the equal of, in my opinion, or even better than Brendan Rodgers' Celtic team.
I think it's been better. I really do. I think they've got more of an edge. You know, at times, for all the season they go unbeaten, is, you know, that their football was great, but it was so like calm and measured. And I'm not saying it's not measured, but there's more of an edge to their play just now. There's more of a strength to the way they play. And you know, I think that when you look at their performances in Europe, certainly when you look at Celtic, they haven't been lucky. They're there on merit. They've been the best team in the group. They've been the best team, and you could argue that Rangers have been quite unfortunate. You know, they've had a bit of bad luck. They've not been lucky in games either. They've had a bit of bad luck, and that's the measure. They're not going to. I keep saying it. They've attacked this European campaign. They've went and says, we are going to play our game. We are going to go and attack. Even you look at